Listen up, Jersey. Election day is next week, and I don't gotta tell you what it means to this family. So be smart about it. Go vote early. Avoid the whole line thing. You do it on your time, no rush, in and out, bada bing, bada boom. But if you even think about not voting, forget about it. In this family, we get off our ass and vote for the guy that took every punch, lie, indictment, even a bullet to his fucking head just to make this country great again. That's our guy. We're Americans, and I'll be damned if we let a bunch of freaks destroy what our ancestors built. Fuck out of here. Now go do what you gotta do and vote early, vote strong, vote Trump. Or else. This has been another public service announcement brought to you by the Dilly Meme team. Listen up, Jersey. Election.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Nierman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. And I took the words of Tony Soprano very seriously. That's right. I went out today and I voted. Not only did I vote, we made it a family event. I took Lady Lawgic. I took my the youngest voter in my house, dragged his butt out. We went down to the library. Let me share with you quickly my little voting experience first and foremost. This is the first time I've ever voted before an election, before Election Day. Never done that before. Voted in person. Going down to a local library here where they had set up voting booths, not the normal location, which I normally go to a school that's, 8 blocks away from my house, and that's where I normally vote. But this was a location which was, mile out, 2 miles out. And yeah, it was pretty exceptional voting experience. It was pretty good. There was 3 people online. Whole thing moved, zip, 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 zip. I was in and out of there in under 10 minutes. Actually, probably 15 minutes, but that's just because I spent some time talking to the guy who was matching my signature. Lady Lawgic was also querying this guy. This guy was great. I don't know if he's watching my show. I doubt he is. He's probably never heard of me before. Well, he heard of Joe Nierman because he saw my signature there. He was talking about how he does signature verification match. And that if he doesn't see a matching signature, that's when he'll ask for ID. If he sees a matching signature, he does not ask for ID, which I guess that's okay. He seemed serious about actually ensuring that he had the right person there. He said he had one person whose signature did not match. He asked them for a driver's license, and the guy was out of there. So the tone of it, the tone of the conversation was definitely Trump voter. Also, I want to point out that one of the things I liked about our system we have here in Jersey is that you have an electronic machine there. They print up your ballot. They say verify your ballot is accurate before you have it submitted. So you can actually see it there. I strongly recommend that you verify, make sure that the machine actually correctly attributed the right names for each of the different positions you're voting for. And I shocked Lady Lawgic. And my son. We're driving there, and I was like, I just realized when I was looking at the voting application, I just realized now that we our congressman died. So we don't really have an incumbent over here. And I was like, if I really thought about it, I might have run for Congress. This is a good time. It's a good time to do it. It would have been a good time to do it if I really would have thought about it. He died with the summer. But if I really would have thought about it, I really would have thought about throwing my hat in the ring to actually But I think the Republican primaries were probably before he died. So we had an incumbent who was here for decades. He was never going to be unseated. Never going to be unseated. So I was like, if I really had thought about it now, I got potentially Billy Prempa, who got my vote. I haven't seen much from him. All I saw was an R by his name, and I was like, that's got to be better. It's got to be better. So he seems like, I saw a short commercial for him. He's a young black man. I haven't heard him speak. He seems relatively intelligent from what I've heard and what I recall thinking, all right, seems okay. Seems like he might be. But I was like, yeah, if I knew that guy was going to die, I think I would have run. Like, what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? You got nothing to lose. What do you go around getting 1,000 signatures? How hard can that be? I'm not sufficiently stupid enough to think that this thing that I do would have any influence in assisting me in actually getting recognized or winning a primary. I see how, Cenk Uygur with his TYT there got 3% of the vote. And he's a lot more better known than I am. Beaver Fry is a lot better known than I am. He also struggled when he threw his hat into the political arena. I don't have any serious ambitions for Congress. I'm like, all right, look, if there's no one else there, if there's no one else competent there, and no one who's entrenched and established, there are worse things. When I mentioned this to my son, he's like, wait, what were you thinking you would have run for? So I said, for the House. He's like, which House? I said, United States House of Representatives. He's like, so does that mean we'd have to move to Washington if you won? So I was like, no, they all fly back and forth. They go in when Congress is in session. I wouldn't be away on the weekends. I'd come home for the weekends. They fly back and forth. It's like a 45-minute flight from Washington to New Jersey. Less than that. It's like 37 minutes or something like that. It's nothing. So I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I? But what I would need, I probably need like 200,000 votes or something like that to win an election here. I'm like, I don't have 200,000 subs, and they're all spaced out from like here to like, I don't know, some of you are in Singapore. So yeah, I think that possibly 5 people watching this episode might live in my congressional district, and the rest of you are just scattered across the plains. And I'm not even sure if all 5 of them would actually vote for me specifically. There's 5. I'm guessing 5. That's probably a high estimate. It's probably a high estimate. Wait, I know 2 or 3 who tend to watch this show who live in my town. I know 2 or 3. Yeah, so I would be like, I don't know if I'm going to get like 3,000 votes. I don't think I question whether that would happen, especially because there's a very strong minority contingent here in my district. A very strong minority. Yeah, my skin is a little paler than people who tend to win office in my jurisdiction. A little paler. So yeah. But I was like, if I knew this guy would die, why not? You get 1,000 signatures? Are you kidding me? How hard can it be? How hard can get my name thrown into a primary? And I guess if Billy Primpo loses and this other woman who he's running against for her first term wins, so I guess I can go after her in 2026. But frankly, the opportunity to ride the coattails of Donald Trump's popularity probably would make winning a general election in my jurisdiction for a Republican a lot easier than it would in 2026. That's just the reality. People tend to just vote down the line. So I would need to convince. So Although you probably need fewer votes because people don't come out as much for a midterm. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully Billy wins. Go, Billy, go! Go, Billy, go! Anyway. So yes, but I went out and voted. I was very impressed with the system we have set up here. And I'm not going to tell you who I voted for because it's a top secret. But yeah. I don't live in New York State. So can't do that. I have an office there. I don't think that's enough, though. I don't think it's enough. Bebop and Rocksteady says U.S. garbage for Trump. U.S. Yes. Garbage for Trump. Amen. Why match signature when you give ID in person? Oh, yeah, you're in New Jersey, so ID optional. Pretty much. Yeah. ID is optional. You know what? At least they're doing some sort of signature. He was actually explaining what parts of my signature match what's on file there. Because I was like, the way I just signed this now is not my normal signature. But because sometimes, like when it's like in that small cramped space, I got a very big swirly kind of thing happening there. So if you give me just like an inch by inch, if you give me like a 1 inch by 6 inch thing to sign in, it's gonna be rough for me. I feel like my hand's being contorted. You're limiting me. You're inhibiting my free expression. I don't like those little small things I gotta sign. I really don't. They bug me. So New Jersey using touchscreen voting instead of paper ballots. Michigan is still all paper ballots. No, that's not what I said. I said you use touchscreen to make a printout of a paper ballot. That's what I said. You see, you hit the touchscreen, and then they say, confirm to print. Please be aware that if it's printed out wrong before you cast a ballot, it's a big hassle to try and fix it. Like that's what the notification said on the screen. It's a big hassle to fix it if it prints out wrong. So please make sure you have the right people selected before you request a printout. And then you hit print, and then you hear, and you see your little ballot paper come down, and then you see the names of all the different people who you vote for, who you hopefully, if you check, if everything goes according to Hoyle, everything goes right, then you actually see your paper ballot, and then you hit cast vote if it matches what you put on the screen. If you think there's a problem, then you say no, and then you have to go through a hassle probably. So yeah, but it's a paper ballot. It's not a machine. Joe, don't lie. We know Lady Lawgic was driving you. She was. She did drive. She did. She really, really did. It's true. It's true. But in fairness, like I was after we voted in the evening, and she wanted to take the kids out to go bowling or something like that, even though she came back like 20 minutes later. So I don't know what that was about. And I was busy prepping for the show. So that way she was just like, she was just staying in the driver's seat. That was a pretty good call there, Gopher. Did New Jersey get to select new senator considering last one convicted of fraud and taking payoffs? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Menendez. I don't know what's happening. I think they end up giving it out to someone. I think Phil Murphy gets involved in that. I don't remember checking out exactly what happens with Menendez's seat. It's a good question. In New Jersey, we are the national capital of the world for scandalized politicians. Yes, I do. Do you want it? Hold on one moment. I noticed it the other day. I was like, why do I have this? Well, thank you. There you go. Lady Lawgic was just sort of poking around the room here until she finally was like, "Are you holding on to my card?" So, yeah. So, yeah, I don't. We are the nation's capital for scandalized politicians. I'm fairly certain. If you actually look up, if you did a search state by state, scandalized politicians or politicians who end up serving time in prison based on what they do while serving office, I would bet anything New Jersey would be top of the list. So, run for local office means more than state or federal office taken from a city council memo for 5 years. Maybe. Could be. Not sure about Virginia, Joe. I'm in Charlottesville, UVA, very Democratic. I'm hoping since we voted Youngkin in, need to get rid of Tim Kaine. I'm going to explain why I think that Trump can turn Virginia red. That's going to come a little later. But I do think he can turn it red. I think you might be in a particularly blue segment of Virginia, but I think that there's a really, really good chance he's going to turn it red. Really good chance. For the Joe campaign tip jar, thank you, Aquamarine. I'm going to need a lot more money if I ever run. I'll need a lot more money. And thanks for your great coverage in Election Madness. It helps me in good old Europe and stay up to date. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. You could run very short ads directing people to your YouTube where you have a huge catalog of what your platform is and people get to know you for free. They would have to be sufficiently interested in knowing a lot about their potential congressman that they're thinking about voting for. Unlikely that there'd be more than like a couple dozen people who would actually go through that effort. Trump's only response all week should be, she broke it, I'll fix it, to every actual policy attack. Everything else should be sticks and stones. I like it, Shiloh. I like it. She broke it, I'll fix it. She broke it, I'll fix it. Perfect. Minnesota Republicans had a big win in the Minnesota Supreme Court today. I sent you a DM earlier today about it. You did? You did? Had a big win. You sent me a DM about it. I'm not seeing, unless it was in my message request. I missed it. Did you send me? It is my message requests. It isn't my. Let's see what you got for us. I'll pull that up in a moment. New Jersey and Illinois are top of list. Illinois wins. Oh, as far as corrupt politicians, I don't know if that's possible. You guys had that Blagojevich guy. Thank you for the super sticker, John Mosley. Appreciate it. Appreciate you very much. This is what Proxy Loxy shared with me. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'm gonna make myself smaller than I usually make myself just to help enable you all to see it. The Republican Party of Minnesota was notified this afternoon that its petition to the Minnesota Supreme Court was granted. The court rejected the arguments in the Secretary of State Simon in Hennepin County and ordered Hennepin County to comply with Minnesota election law by appointing election judges from the list of judges provided by the Republican Party to the Secretary of State in April 2024 to his absentee ballot board. The court specified that Hennepin County must comply with this order no later than November 1. Oh, that's nice. In 2022, the Minnesota Supreme Court previously stated the purpose of this election law is to promote accurate and secure elections because the law sets uniform requirements for processing and counting absentee ballots. In its order, the court reaffirmed this prior ruling. Quote, "This is a huge win for election integrity in Minnesota." Hear, hear. Stated Chairman David Hand, Minnesotans expect those administering our elections to comply with election law. The court's order made clear that there is no ambiguity in the law. Hennepin County cannot bypass the party's list of election judges. All counties in Minnesota should be on notice. I urge Simon and all election officials to follow the law and ensure transparency in and compliance with our election processes. As of today, 263,435 absentee ballots have been received by Hennepin County, and 209,000 of those have been accepted by the absentee ballot board. That's 54,000 roughly votes have not been accepted. A board not, that's like roughly 20%. A board not in compliance with the law as it is elected by, as elect any election judge appointed from the Republican Party's election judge list. That's excellent. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. CNN afraid of beepers. So I plan on covering that. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I actually don't have that in my queue, and I don't know why. Because maybe I do. I know when I was going through my queue here, I planned on having it, and I don't remember seeing it. Where is it? Where is it on my list here? I definitely had this. I don't see it. I know someone DM'd it to me. Someone who's a regular here. DM. Maybe was it Q? No, it wasn't Q. It was someone else. Was it Peter? Was it you, Elegant News? It was you, Elegant News. Elegant News is the one who shared it with me. It was Allegan. Allegan. I'll come to that shortly. Let me put this aside so I have it, because I definitely want to talk about this. I'm going to spend a while probably talking about this little break with reality, because I think this was great. This was a great moment. Let's see. I don't know where it went. I don't know what this is. Okay. All right. Got a lot of things I wanted to cover. So people still talking about, hold on. I remember Tim Pool interviewed Billy Primpa 4 years ago. I sent the link to your Good Lawgic Gmail account. You did. You did. I'm going to try and check that out maybe before tomorrow's show. Thank you. There's an IV fluid shortage due to a hurricane. Hospitals struggling. Biden government will not release stockpile supply to help. Yeah. Surprise, surprise that they suck. Surprise, surprise that they suck. Let me get into some some stories here, because I feel like I need to get into some stuff.
Avoid the whole line thing. You do it on your.
1 second. Okay. I got the joy. Oh, let me just get this out of the way. Also, Ank Gifton 5. Count them 5. Good Lawgic memberships. There's that horn. There's that horn for the 5. For the 5, who'd you bring on board here? Brought on Dissident Porcupine 73, Dan Nikovsky, Beaver Gladiator, Paul for the win, FTW, and Joseph Fazio. All of them gifted memberships courtesy of Ank. God bless you, Ank, for bringing in members of the following. The following is not at all a cult. And I am not the leader of the following. I hope that's clear. I hope everyone understands. Everyone understands. Joe is definitely not at all the leader of the following. Very early vote often. Amen. Go now. Go now. Don't just go now. Wherever you are. I don't care where you are. Go now. Just go vote. Go vote. Oh, God. Imagine missing this election. How would you face your kids in generations to come? So, some leftover residue from that comedian who broke liberals' hearts and broke their brains by making a joke about there being a landfill in the ocean called Puerto Rico, which I'll tell you right now, stupid venue to make that joke. Like, really stupid venue to make that joke. Just idiotic. Because why? Why give them a gasp of breath to sort of resurrect claims of racism when any idiot would recognize that that's where it would go? Do I think it was racist? No. But that's exactly the sort of thing Trump would say that people would be like, you see, he's racist. So why would you do it there? Why? Why a week before? Why would you do it? So I don't think it's actually a racist joke. Most Puerto Ricans I've seen talking about it say it wasn't offensive. And I was like, this is going to linger. They're going to talk about the Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden. Everything's a Yahtzee rally. Everything, oh my God, it's so terrible. Everything over there was just, oh my gosh, it was Nazi this, Nazi that. Because Madison Square Garden, as everyone knows, Madison Square Garden is the home of lots of Nazi rallies. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. In fact, pretty much every event that you've seen in Madison Square Garden for the last 85 years or so has been some sort of, Adolf related thing. And it goes back. This is not like, this is not a new thing. This goes back. And you had it in 1962 there. It's true. Goes back 1962. You had the Madison Square Garden. Why is this not showing now? There you go. You had Ava Braun singing "Happy Birthday" to Adolf. Everyone remembers this. It was a big moment. May 19th, 1962. May 19th, 1962. Another big moment, obviously. Another big moment at the Garden for those National Socialists. Everyone remembers, obviously, when Joseph Goebbels was addressing the Hitler Youth in Madison Square Garden, June 9th, 1972. All this stuff at the Garden, you would think, like, my God, they should shut that place down. They should shut it down. All these different terrible events that they had at the Garden. And then finally, obviously, when you had Adolf Hitler hosting a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden in 1994, you can see him there hoisting the Nazi standard there. Gross. It's just gross. So you have this whole Nazi thing that was happening there. This whole Nazi thing that's been going on in the Garden. There's just one Nazi event after another. Just one Nazi event after another. And you thought this was going to linger. You thought it was going to linger. Frankly, it's not everyone, just to be clear. Not everyone was impressed with the nature of this particular Nazi rally. Some people thought it was actually a bit of a disappointment. I found a clip here of someone who was really, really upset, saying this is a terrible Nazi rally. This is terrible.
Es ist dem Feind gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf-Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
I sort of have to interrupt that momentarily just in the hopes that I can find some way that I won't have to cut this out for people who are watching after the fact there. But in case you're wondering what that is, that's wrapping tefillin at the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. That's tefillin. The English word for tefillin is phylacteries, which is what we Orthodox Jews wear when we pray in the morning. Orthodox Jewish men in the morning when we pray. So we don phylacteries, which is basically it's got scripture that's encased in square boxes, certain specific passages from scripture that are encased in boxes with leather straps that you're supposed to tie around the arm, the arm and the hand in a particular way, and also affixed to the head. So probably the first Nazi rally where someone was putting tefillin on. Worst Nazi rally ever.
Es ist dem Feind gelungen.
Not everyone was impressed. Not everyone thought that it was a great Nazi rally. Not everyone thought it was. But you thought this was going to linger. You thought this story was going to linger forever. That forever and ever, we're going to hear this, or at least the next 7 days, we're going to hear all about, the Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden and the Nazi comedian and all that other stuff. And it's just like, why do we need to deal with this headache? Why? And we were like, who's going to help take the shift off of this? Who's going to help take this story out? Take this story out. Who can we look to kibosh any momentum from the Harris team? Just kibosh it in ways that you just sort of like, it's almost like a tackler who sees someone like running for an end zone and just dives to the feet and wraps his arms around the leg, just bring the guy down, just sand dive and grab the feet, and from the momentum that might potentially start building. Not that I think they'll do anything at all, but just kibosh it. That's what I was thinking today. We need someone who can kibosh it. And sure shooting, who steps into the fold just a couple of hours ago to just sort of say, oh, okay, we'll totally just give MAGA a brand new opening to back at you. None other than President, yes, resident President Joe Biden. God bless you, Joe.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, no, that's not going to be loud enough. Dag nabbit, we need it louder.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. Or Puerto Rico.
The only garbage I see out there are the Trump supporters. Oh, really now? Oh, so all 90 million of us, we're all garbage. Is that the way it is? From the unifier in chief, we're all garbage. Yeah, that's what he said. The only garbage I see out there are people who vote for Trump. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you so very much, you addled old man. Thank you for being able to for giving this nice little opening to be like, that's what the president thinks of people who are voting for Trump, that you're all garbage. Frankly, that's a lot more offensive than saying that the country of Puerto Rico looks like a landfill. It's a lot more, because this is talking about the people who you've been put in place to preside over. There you go. That's what they think of you. They think you're garbage. They think I'm garbage. They hate all of us. My God. No, it's not. Didn't you hear? We are garbage. Look at that. You're like reading my mind. We're simpatico here. We're simpatico. That is where I was heading to. Can you post link to locals want to send to AV? I don't know what you want the link for. I'm not sure which thing you're, but most of the primary links I plan on sharing in locals. In case you missed it, if you're not in locals, it's goodlogic.locals.com. What I was doing this evening before I sent out links for the show was that I took the links from yesterday, some of the funnier or more standout links that I thought people might want to be able to just sort of access. And I just started posting them one by one and labeling them. So this way, if you have particular links that you want, that, because I know I cover a lot of different links in this show. I mean, if you look at my screen here, for crying out loud, you look at the top of my screen here, there's like 25 links here. And this is just one window. I actually have like 3 or 4 that I have with more links on them, because I run through a lot during the course of a show. So I understand that there was probably a handful of them that several of you might want, and I think it's appropriate for me to try and share that as much as possible. So I plan on trying to do that more and more, where I'm going to be basically posting in locals some of these links, so this way I don't go searching through my show and trying to find it and figure out what the link is and where I found it. So, for example, at the end of the show last night, if you missed it, I had a whole thing with a guy explaining that lab meat comes from feces, which I dropped on the audience before I closed out my show last night, because you all know what I think about lab meat. I was saying that it was feces. I didn't know it was literally feces. But yeah, so I figured people might want to be able to see it for themselves. So, links like that, I kind of share it out there. This link over here, for example, is one I plan on sharing out with like Biden, or that the Adolf thing. Adolf watching a Trump rally and being incredibly unimpressed, just not at all pleased. I actually have a whole bunch of stories that I have like a million links before I get to the Virginia thing. I have a million links that I wanted to share with you. And these are just things I came across that I was just like, man, I want to share that. I was talking this link I want to share with you here. That was not at all a slip of the tongue. This link that I plan on sharing with you all here is something that I was talking about, I think, a couple of weeks ago, as to how legacy media is so repetitive that they seem pre-programmed. And I stumbled on this link after the show last night, and I was like, you know what? It's good for people to see this again. So you may have seen something like this before. You can't be reminded enough, as we're leading up to the election here, as how legacy media is controlled narrative. I don't know who the puppet masters are. But legacy media are puppets. They are puppets. It is evident. They are puppets, and they all repeat the same crap.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. This cannot be organic. It's impossible. It's impossible for this to be organic.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 There you go. Our legacy media is extremely dangerous to our democracy. So I just wanted to remind you all of that. Let me get to Virginia. Let me get you all to Virginia. And it really starts with a story that I saw Robert Gouveia, my good friend Robert Gouveia, did a great job. If you missed his episode tonight, I highly recommend that you go back and check it out. But he did a great job of breaking down an emergency stay application that was brought in Virginia. And I'm not going through the entire thing there. He literally spent 2 hours breaking down the stay and what the application was all about. But we'll get a little overview here just from this article. Virginia appeals to scholars to reverse judges ruling putting potential non-citizens back on voter rolls. You see a headline like this, that there's been a decision by the Court of Appeals, by the Circuit Court, which says that the state of Virginia has to put potential non-citizens, back on voter rolls. And you'll be like, Joe, why would you think he's going to win Virginia? Where they don't even know if they can clean up their own ballot rolls. The court's not going to let them clean it. The court doesn't want to let them clean it up. So you should be saying, why is this something that you think is potentially a good thing? Why is this potentially a good thing? And I'll get there. The state of Virginia filed an emergency stay application in the U.S. Supreme Court on Sunday, an 11th hour bid to overturn a lower court ruling that halted its removal of likely non-citizens and restored about 1,600 residents to voter rolls. Not just likely non-citizens, people who admitted that they're not citizens. They admitted that they're not citizens. The appeal came hours after the Fourth Circuit of Appeals upheld a preliminary injunction granted Friday by U.S. Judge Patricia Giles on Friday, which ordered Virginia to halt its process of removing potential non-citizens from its voter rolls and to reinstate all voters that had been removed in the last 90 days. The appellate court upheld Giles' decision in ruling that the removals had in fact been systematic, not individualized, and thus violated federal law, a blow to Governor Glenn Youngkin and other Republicans in the state. At issue is a provision in the National Voter Registration Act, which requires all states to halt systematic voter roll maintenance for a 90-day quiet period before the election. So they're saying if you're going to be removing people at this point in time, you're basically violating the NRVA, which says you can't do stuff like this. Now, in their emergency stay, I don't know if we read through this whole thing here. Well, the Justice Department sued Virginia over its program earlier this month, arguing the removals were conducted too close to the November 5th elections and violated the quiet period provision. Justice Department officials also cited concerns that eligible votes may have incorrectly been removed from the rolls without adequate notice or enough time to correct the mistake. In the Supreme Court appeal, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares objected to the decision on several grounds. First, that the NRVA applies to non-citizens. Why would it apply to them? It has to apply to eligible voters. They're not eligible voters. Even if the NRVA does apply, Miyares argued that the state still has an individualized process conducted by the DMV and local registration offices. The process compared its DMV non-citizens list against its list of registered voters, so we can know that we're only removing the right people. So what are you worrying about here? What are you worrying about? It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. So that is their application. How soon it's going to be heard? Imagine it would be relatively short. Be a relatively short time. So you might say to me, Joe, why? What are you talking about? Why would you think? Are you gaslighting us? Why would you think that this is a sign that things are going well? That they can win Virginia? And I'll tell you why. I'll just make this stuff up. I said that I think he's going to win Virginia and North Carolina. And it started really when I was looking at something that Susan Crabtree shared today, which I think is really interesting. Because everyone was talking for the longest time here about how Trump was going to lose North Carolina. He won North Carolina in 2020, and this was a state that Democrats were hoping that they could take in the 2024 election. And there was a lot of talk about how it was looking bluer and bluer, purpler and purpler, and fear that Trump would lose North Carolina. And then I saw this thing here today. Which says Kamala is giving up on North Carolina, pulling money out, maybe to drop in Virginia to try and stop the slide. She's pulling out. She's pulling out. Kamala Harris Media Buying and Analytics is revising her broadcast flight from 10:29 to 11:05 in the contest for U.S. presidential. So far, we've seen 1,721,000 removed from the Charlotte, Greensboro, Greenville, New Bern, Norfolk, Raleigh, and Wilmington markets. 7 of 54 previously active markets have been reported. So she's pulling her money out of advertising in North Carolina, which sounds like a white flag, right? She's not going to be advertising in Oklahoma. She's not advertising in states she's not advertising in Florida. She knows she's not going to win them states. So she wants to focus her attention on states that she hopes can actually give her a path. If she's pulling her money out of North Carolina, trust me on this, that's not a decision they make lightly. They don't make a decision like that lightly. That's a decision which they're like, look, this is just throwing good money after bad. We're not taking North Carolina. That's why you pull that out. So that's why I'll tell you right now. Do I think she's going to win North Carolina? What I think is really almost inconsequential compared to what the Harris team thinks, which is they think she's losing North Carolina. That is really, really solid news. But what was really interesting to me about that particular article is that they point out that maybe to try and drop in Virginia to try and stop the slide, which made me go over and start checking out, well, how's she doing in Virginia? Virginia, which is a state that I think he lost by 12 points last time. And seemed like it was going to go forever blue. It seemed to be going down that dark path that is joining with It was joining with the dark forces. It was like going to be ruled by Darth Maul or whatever. Who knows? But someone from the dark side of the force was going to be taking over Virginia, which was a very scary prospect. And something that always frustrated me because I was like, they're a southern state. Why would they be so blue? I always had that question about Georgia. I'm like, can you be more southern than Georgia? I don't understand how this is happening. Southern states are supposed to be red. That is, so it has been written, so it shall be done. Southern states are supposed to be red, and Virginia is a southern state. And that's why I was like, I don't know why it is that we're struggling in Virginia. When I first started doing podcasting, I met someone who works out in Virginia, is an activist, a GOP activist, who said that the ground game in Virginia 4 years ago, he was describing, I can't speak to its current state of affairs, but he was saying the GOP's ground game in Virginia is disastrous. It's terrible. He was like, it's a clusterfuck. He was railing against the grassroots movements that the GOP had in the state, in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So, and that he was trying to work, I don't remember the guy's name. I spoke with him on the phone for like an hour, but this is literally going back at least 3 years now. So I don't really remember much about that. But now I'm seeing that instead of having a 12-point lead, they're reporting that she's got a 5.8 lead, something to that effect. I don't know if I have the numbers here anymore. I had it. I don't know what I did with that particular thing. And when you tell me that she's got less than an 8-point lead, which she does in polling, you tell me, and everything is trending pro-Trump. I'll tell you right now, that's a sign to me. Every day, this country is getting a little bit redder. So I'll tell you right now, and she makes one mistake after another. We're going to talk about some of her mistakes soon. The reason I think that he's going to take Virginia is because Kamala is worried about losing Virginia. That's the first thing. But far more important than that, the reason that I feel confident that she's going to take Virginia is because of this headline that, believe it or not, I already showed you, which is Virginia appeals to SCOTUS to reverse the judge's ruling. What is happening here? What's this? What's this? Virginia is dissatisfied with the court interfering with their ability to run a fair election, to remove citizens who don't belong on the registration rolls? Like, they actually care. Like, there's a goal here. You have a governor in charge here in Glenn Youngkin who actually cares about having a proper election with integrity. He cares about there being an actual proper vote. Something that was, frankly, seemed to be completely missing with Governor Kemp and Brad Raffensperger in Georgia back in 2020. It seemed to be an abject failure out in Arizona, in Nevada. We know it was an abject failure under Governor Wolf and his hench-dog, soon-to-be Governor Josh Shapiro. It was a failure that they don't care about having fair elections in Michigan. I'm talking all now going 2020. What we see from this, the fact that Virginia is taking this fight, they're talking about 1,600 people here. 1,600 people is unlikely to be the difference in this election. That's unlikely. And it seems like they're on the alert to make sure that these 1,600 people don't vote. So just them being on the alert that we don't want people who are ineligible to vote to have access to our ballots means that I got a feeling these 1,600 people, it kind of got like the government's got like a little bullseye on them, like saying, don't let them in. They cannot vote. So, but whether or not 1,600 slip through or 1,000 slip through or 300, that's not the point. The point here is Virginia cares to actually have integrity in its elections. Virginia is doing its due diligence. Virginia, in an age where we see that Trump is trending redder and redder across the country, and Virginia is trending redder and redder, and he's in pretty close to barely, basically almost the the margin of error in the election balloting, I'll tell you right now, I think he's going to eke it out. And I also feel like we can have relative confidence that there will be integrity there. And they are going to try and see what the actual ballot result is. So unlike in states that we saw in 2020, which basically were like, well, everything looks perfect to me here. I don't understand why you're having any questions here. We don't see anything wrong with any of our ballots. You actually have someone who's going with a microscope and concerned about 1,600 voters and taking that fight all the way up to the Supreme Court saying, no, we're not allowing that. That is a phenomenal sign for election integrity in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that to me says, you know what? I think he can pull it out. I think he can do it. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. But someone mentioned to me the other night that they're betting on Virginia to win. It's not a bad bet. Not a bad bet at all. Because at least you got a governor there who seems to be I'm sure he's appointing people who he feels confident are going to do a competent job in ensuring that election is going to have the best integrity possible. Nothing more you can be asking for. So, go Virginia, go. I will be watching that together with all of you on election night, November 5th, next Tuesday. I plan on having an extended show on election night where I'm going to be having probably a handful of visitors pop in and out of here while I'm covering election results. One of whom has already confirmed that he plans to pop on in and out of here, and that's my good friend Ron Coleman. But that will be next week. But I'll tell you right now, I feel like North Carolina, I think we got her. And Virginia, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. Which reminds me, we should look at the early voting. We should check out what the early voting is saying here. It's important to check it out. Be mindful of this stuff. Be mindful of that. It's a good time for us to check that out here. So Virginia, yesterday I was talking about these are early voting turn-ins. So yesterday, for example, we saw that there was 5.4 million early votes that had come into the state of Texas. And they give a breakdown as to out of those votes, what percentage are Republican and what percentage are Democrat. Now, we would tend to assume that most early votes are going to be Democrat because Democrats come out early. Now, a state like Texas, it's 52-37 out of 6 million votes. 52% of them are Republican. Now, obviously, this is not a reflection as to how many votes Trump has. We don't know if that 52% voted Trump. Could be 70% of them voted Trump. We don't know. Nobody knows. It could be 60% of them voted for Kamala. No one's canvassing the votes early, but it gives you an idea as to how interested various parties are in making sure they get out there to get their vote in. And like I said, in 2020, Republicans were, as a group, not doing early voting. I mean, very, very small percentage compared to the Democrats. That's why everyone said anticipate that when the mail-ins start getting counted, that same day results going to be strongly Republican. But then when the mail-ins start coming in, that's when the cheating is going to. That's when we'll get the truer result. The truer result. Sure enough, in Arizona, 42% Republican to 35% Democrats. Excellent sign. I expressed concern yesterday at Pennsylvania, where I saw that it was 60-30 yesterday. Now it's 59-31. And what someone pointed out to me was part of the reason that Pennsylvania is that way. Much stronger Democrat than a state like Arizona, both battleground states. Arizona is more Republicans than Democrats coming out. Why would it be 2-1 practically Democrats or Republican? And someone correctly woke me up to the reality that Pennsylvania only has mail-in. They don't have vote in person early in Pennsylvania. And when it comes to mail-ins, and that's also why they only have 1.4 million votes compared to Texas, which has in-person voting and has 6 million votes. Texas is roughly twice the size of Pennsylvania in its population. So you would expect that if there's 1.4, if there's 6 million people voting in Texas, there should be 3 million people voting in Pennsylvania. But there's half that. It's only 1.4 million who have voted in Pennsylvania. The reason for that is Texas has early voting in person, whereas if we look at the vote type here, you'll see Pennsylvania only has mail-in. It's 100% mail-in. They don't allow for people to come in. Texas, in contrast, has 95% of the people coming in person. Republicans correctly don't trust the mail with their vote. We treasure our vote. So we don't trust the mail with our vote. But I like taking advantage. So I'm totally cool with Pennsylvania having only 31% be Republican. That's okay. That's all right. That should be lower for us. Should be lower. So, frankly, I was surprised that New Jersey has mail-in for a lot longer so far than the in-person. I think in-person only started a day or two ago. So New Jersey. So now we were looking at, so I wanted to look at and share with you, okay, what percentage of people have been coming in Virginia? How's the party registration looking in Virginia? And we see that it's pretty much, it's a slight lead there for Democrats there. It's 52-38. That's okay. 38% Republicans. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. What type of voting do they have? What type of voting do they have there? So they have in-person and mail-in. Most people doing in-person. All right. It's only 1.6 million so far. Still plenty of time. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. All right. Where was we? But that's why I think Virginia, we got a good shot. We got a good shot. If Kamala's nervous about it, there's a reason she's nervous about it. She's not nervous about California. She ain't nervous about New York. She's foolishly not nervous about New Jersey. But I digress. And while we're on this topic, Elon Musk tweeted out last night, early votes in Pennsylvania now show Republicans doing 435,000 better than Democrats versus the same date in 2020. Biden's margin of victory was only 80,000 in 2020. This is trending, hopefully, from his mouth to God's ear, toward a crushing victory. Numbers here are very confusing when you try breaking down exactly what the heck these numbers are. But it's basically trying to show the votes in 2024 compared to the votes in 2020. I don't know if you can actually read any of these numbers here. They talk about the total that was cast in 2020 over here was 1.7. And in 2024, it's 1.3. But you can see over here that represent that well, I don't know. You get confused. It just made sense to me when I looked at it the other day. Now when I'm looking at it, I'm like, Republicans are 446. Last time they were at 352. Democrats were at 1.1. Now they're at 1. Now they're at 848. That's where the difference is. So Democrats have fallen off by 300,000. There's 300,000. That's where the numbers are. There's 300,000 fewer Democrat votes on October 27, 2024, than there was on October 27, 2020, when there was 1.189 million. I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me try and make this a little bigger for you. So you can see over here that in 2020, as of this last line here is October 27th. I know I'm blocking. Let me see if I move myself up a little bit here. Put myself up here. All right. So on October 27, 2024, comparing it to October 27, 2020, so there were 1.189 million Democrats that had voted a week before the election. And today, they only have 848,000 that have voted. So not nearly the same excitement from the Democrats to come out. Additionally, in 2020, the Republicans, only 352,000 came out. And today, so far, 446,000 come out. So if you add up how much Democrats lost and you add in how much Republicans gained, and that's where he comes to his number here of saying that there's a 435,000 improvement in the voting, which he's correct. That is a phenomenal trend. It's a phenomenal trend for that state. And you got to say to yourself, why would it be different so different in Virginia? When we see hokey things from one state to another, but why would it be? That's a really, really good sign. Really good sign. Let me catch up on some of the comments here. Meme wars need links to feed the front lines. I'll give it to you. I'm your Huckleberry. I was born in Naval Hospital in Norfolk. So maybe you're still registered to vote there. I don't know. New Hampshire's all state to watch. I said that when the guy said that he is voting, that he's betting on Virginia. I told him New Hampshire's close. New Hampshire's close. It's weird how they're in the Northeast, and they seem to actually have a little bit of a lean towards Republican, far more so than Vermont. It's not even like close. Aren't there also like 26 states joining that Virginia appeal via an amicus brief, or is that a different case? It isn't that correct. You are correct. I think it's 25 states total. Speaking of which, I'm going to tell you this. Well, something I stumbled on was Joe Walsh, podcaster Joe Walsh, former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh, together with Adam Kinzinger and about a dozen other Republican former congressmen no longer in Congress, filed an amicus brief against the state of Virginia, saying, no, the Fourth Circuit got it right. We need to keep these illegals on the ballot. Those freaking loser cucks. Joe Walsh, your brain melted into goo. This guy said he would actually come on my show, make an appearance here. I said, I got to find out what happened to you. I want to find out what happened, because he used to be hardcore Republican, and now he's filing an amicus brief together with crying Adam Kinzinger, boo-hoo, I have no job anymore, Adam Kinzinger, and a dozen other nobodies who are all former members of Congress, former Republican members of Congress, who are all signing on together with trying to keep the state of Virginia from cleaning up its ballot rolls and saying, no. The Purcell rule doesn't apply here. The Purcell rule, as Robert Gouveia points out, is a rule basically saying let states do what states do with controlling their own elections in the days leading up to an election. And they're like, no. It's like how like it's like not only are you a whiny bitch, but you're a loud whiny bitch. I know I got to go to the Supreme Court and scream that I need to have illegal people voting in this thing. Disgusting, awful. What is shameful. Some of these losers. It's like, you wonder why you lost your seat? There you go. You're a loser. You're just proving it over and over and over again. And I know he lost his seat before Trump ever came to office. But my God, what a complete and total loser. Joe Walsh. Pathetic. Incompetent boob. Thank you, Howie Brown, for the membership. God bless you. There you go. Nana banana playing the piano. Do we get a call-in segment on election day? I don't know. I don't know. I have to figure probably not. Maybe. Depends how things are. Depends how bored I am. Depends how much I'm boring myself. Honey B. Care says, as managing director of the following, you display the traits necessary to be called leader. P.S. The MAGA patriotic tracksuits are ready for ship. Oh, finally. Thank God. The Tracksuits are not mandatory, but they are highly recommended. Obviously, a margin of 4. It was 6 minutes ago. Not sure which state you're talking about. Unless you're saying Virginia with their number. How do we know whether or not these early votes are taking away from our election day lead? Super Ultra MAGA 2024. I'm glad you referred to Super Ultra MAGA 2024 because I'm going to share with you all something. I tried buying me a dark MAGA hat. I was like, you know what? On election day, I want to come in here like a sports fan. So I got me very excited. So I got me like this this dark MAGA sweatshirt. And I wanted to get a dark MAGA hat. You can't get it. I can't get it by election day. They're pricey. Trump wants $40 for his hats. So I was like, all right, let me see what I can find on Amazon. And Trump is like, yeah, we're not going to get it to you before election day. If you order now, bear in mind, if you didn't order by the October 24th, you're not getting it by election day. I was like, all right, I'll go to Amazon. I'll go to eBay. I'm looking up online. I can't get one. I'm so bummed. I was like, how am I not going to have a dark MAGA hat on election day? I was like, come on. I don't know how to get my hands on one. I don't know how. I'm very, very bummed. But are they taking away from election day lead? Presumably they are to some degree. Presumably they are. That's okay. Because the enthusiasm, you win by enthusiasm. Don't you see? Bubala. My Kinta. Understand. Boy chick, relax. It's a good thing. It's the same number of votes whether they come before or before election day or after. We could just still anticipate there's going to be a lot more Republicans that come in on election day than Democrats. It's a reflection of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is what wins elections. That's what it is. It's a reflection of how pumped up they are. Because if you got this many people coming in, that same vibe is in the atmosphere there for the people who have not yet voted. You see what I'm saying? So it's not a matter of like, what does the country think about who they want? It's what people are going to go to a ballot and vote because they really care. That's what wins elections. And the fact that so many Republicans really care that they're coming out this early, more than a week before the election, to get their freaking ballots in, because they basically are saying they crawl over glass to go vote for Donald Trump. That's a vibe. That's an environment that this country is soaking in that. Thank God, at the perfect time, soaking in this pro-Trump environment. That's what it is. So will you see smaller turnout on election day proper? Yeah, that makes sense. Probably. That's okay. It's got to be eaten into it somewhat. I'll tell you, for example, I voted on election day in 2020. I'm not going to be voting on election day 2024. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of folks like me. Because I already, it's the same number of ballots. But the enthusiasm is so key to winning elections. Party registration for early vote means nothing with open primary states like Michigan. And that's an interesting point. It's funny. I was actually mentioning to Lady Lawgic that I was like, I really don't know if I'm registered as a Democrat or Republican, which I was like, if I wanted to run as a Republican for my jurisdiction, I probably would have to be registered as a Republican. That's probably a key thing. Because I'm not big on voting in primaries. Not going to kid you. Need to watch Tampon Tim State too. You think Minnesota don't see. The reason I don't trust I don't think that he's going to care enough about election integrity to keep out the thieving Democrats. So, what happened to Joe Walsh? Trump, duh. Yeah, he's terrible. He's gross. And by the way, when Trump is gone, I'm not forgiving the Joe Walshes of the world. I'm not forgiving the Adam Kinzingers of the world or the Liz Cheneys of the world or any of these folks. Any of these folks, they all suck. They all suck. They're all terrible. There was a clip here. I don't know what happened to it. I got too many clips. I got too many windows. I worked really hard for you guys here. Is this it? No. I have one of my windows is just a bunch of different tabs of Kamala is an idiot. That's coming later in the show. That I haven't even gotten to that window yet. I was like, is what I'm looking for that? No, it's not there. No, it's not there. Is it on this thing? Nope, that's not it. It was it was just a headline that I really cared about, where it said that Nikki Haley is standing by, ready to help Trump on his campaign. That's what the headline is. Nikki Haley standing by, waiting to help Trump on his campaign. And all I thought when I saw that was Trump should say to her, Trump, I hope it would be so classic if Trump said to Nikki Haley, stand down and stand by. Nikki Haley, stand down and stand by. We don't need no freaking Nikki Haley. We don't need no freaking warmonger Nikki Haley. Okay? We don't need her. I don't care. I don't want her. We don't need no freaking warmonger Nikki Haley. Stand down, stand by. That would be awesome. I feel like if I got an interview with Trump, that's what I feel like I'd want to ask you. Can you finally condemn Nikki Haley? Can you finally condemn Nikki Haley? And then hear him say, Nikki Haley, stand down, stand by. Oh, God. Nikki Haley. Actually, it's 27 states total, including the draft of the amicus brief, Kansas AG, along with 26 other states. All right. 25, 26, 27. Kelly, thank you so much. Not Kaylee. I'm thinking Haley, Nikki. Kelly, God bless you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Trump MAGA hats take 60 days to get to you. I got 3. Yeah. Well, that sucks. Adam Kinzinger losing in Michigan. Best blessing ever. Amen. I thought he was in Illinois. That's 7 states shy of a convention of states. We're getting there. We're gonna put Kamala as an idiot on a hold for a moment. Put that on a hold for a moment. Don't worry, we're coming back to it. I'm coming back there. I have a whole bunch of videos I wanted to share with you guys. We'll start with this one. This is no, you know what? Let's move you over here. Change my mind. We can move you over. We'll move you into the Kamala is an idiot section. There you go. Move you over. This is something that I never thought about before. And I was talking yesterday about how there's 300,000 kids missing. But under borders are Kamala Harris. What happened there? Why did I lose my... What happened? But Bobby D tweeted out, it really pains me to say this because it's so effing disgusting, but little did I know that the United States is the capital of the world of child trafficking. Just take a moment to think about that for a second. We're the capital of the world of child trafficking. You would think that that would be like some sort of like, Central American country. No. Or in Africa. We're the capital of the world in child trafficking. Our government is one big Satan-worshipping pedo network. Let's check out this clip here.
This is for all the media, for all Mexican Americans, Hispanic Americans, to vote for President Trump. And I know we will win for the third time. For the third time. Yes. Yes. We will win for the third time. And that's a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. Because it's true. Because it's true. Look what is happening right now. Look what is happening right now with these evil people. Obama, Hillary, Kamala, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, all this team. There's more than 300,000 children, over 300,000 children that they came through the border, they released them, and we don't know where they are. Kamala, where are the children? Kamala, where are the children?
Where are the children, Kamala?
These people, Kamala and Biden, they're the biggest human traffickers in the history. And everyone knows that. And that's why I'm here to give my 100% to support my dear friend, President Donald Trump. And again, we will win for the third time.
This time will be called in our favor, though. It's going to be such a landslide. It's going to be called in our favor, God willing. So I want to share that clip with you. And speaking of people who can't stand the Democrats, there was someone who was continually critiquing me several months ago. I think she stopped watching the show because she got mad at me for dismissing her criticism of Trump, that I don't understand that certain Christians are not going to vote for him because of his position on or his divorces or his position on ABC. Well, this is, I'm not sure who, I'm going to be fair with you. I'm not sure who this individual is. But this is a Catholic pastor addressing, I don't know the occasion of this particular sermon that he was giving. If any of you know his name, that would be actually cool of you to share with me. If you know the name of this individual. But he's giving you his thoughts on the Democratic Party.
You cannot be a practicing Catholic and be part of the current Democratic Party knowing that this group is actively working for the killing of the unborn. You cannot be part of a group or an association that's focus is to bring about moral evils. This is why for centuries, the Catholic Church has made it very clear that you cannot be a Freemason, because there are foundational principles of the Freemasons that are contrary to the Catholic faith. You cannot be part of something which is essential to it, moral evils.
I'm sorry. Something happened to Bella Stella? Sorry, I just wanted. I hope she's okay. I don't know what happened to her. Queen of Improvement. She's awesome. Yeah. I apologize if I referred to him as a pastor. He's obviously a priest.
because you cannot be part of something and not support what is essential to it, picking and choosing what you want, what you like. And you have a moral obligation not to be part of that.
That's something that I think a lot of people miss. They sort of feel like, with the respect to their religion, they can pick and choose the parts they like and disregard the parts that they don't like. And just be like, oh, you know what? I'm like, 80% Catholic or 30% Jew. Or that's just not the way it works. That's because when you're saying something like that, you're pretty much saying there's a certain rejection on a certain level of the divinity of what it is you're following. And because you're basically saying, well, this part of it doesn't apply to me. If you want to tell me that you struggle, and we all struggle with those of us who follow a faith and try to keep to a faith, we all find certain parts of our faith that we find more challenging than others. But to completely abandon a part of your faith is inherently saying, I'm out of that one. I'm down with 90% of it, but that 10%, I'm out of it, is inherently proclaiming a rejection of the divinity of your faith. Because what you're ultimately saying is God got that one wrong, which is so stupid to say, I believe everything else here came from God, but this part, mm-mm. And this applies to any faith. This applies to any faith. Now, you might say certain parts have different interpretations, whatever. But if you're telling me, and it seems pretty canonical for the Catholic Church to basically say abortion is murder. This is not something that it's like there's differing opinions. Which, frankly, I'll tell you right now, Judaism does not take as strong a position on abortion as Catholicism. Catholicism takes a sterner approach than Judaism. Judaism does not embrace abortion. It's close behind. It's not like they're far off from each other. But in Judaism, we basically look at it as being a near life and not quite a human life. So, and that's why we look at it as a potential life and the incredible value to a potential life, because we attribute exceptional value to human life, really immeasurable value to human life. So when you have potential human life, it has similar immeasurable value, only devalued to the degree that there's some concern that the fetus may not ever actually become, because of natural reasons, may not actually develop into being a human. So to the extent that there's concerns about the health of the baby eventually turning into, or a fetus turning into a human, that's a tiny devaluation from the immeasurable value of a man or a woman. So whereas Catholicism, I think, from everything I've seen and what this priest is indicating, really looks at it as if there's no difference. As if there's no difference. And you cannot, if you're saying, well, I believe 80%, but this 20%, I'm not down with that. To me, it means the other 80%, you're not really down with that either. It's just convenient for you. You're not doing it because you think God told you to do it. You're doing it because you like it. You're doing it because it works for you. You're doing it because you don't feel it's any biggie. So if anyone who comes along, I don't even understand the argument. If you're really thinking through and you're dealing with the reality as to what your brain is doing, when you reach that decision that I'm just rejecting this portion of my faith, you're basically saying it's not divine, or I'm smarter than God. It's got to be one of those two, which is such a stupid thing to think. So you're either professing that you're smarter than God, which doesn't really make sense, or you're saying you don't really think God wrote it or meant it, which seems pretty stupid, which means that really anything you're doing for your faith ultimately is not because you're trying to follow God's word, but because it works for you, because that's what you like. Because if there was another 5% that you didn't like, you'd carve that out similarly. That would make sense, right? So you say, oh, okay. And if it was 90% that you disagreed with, that you felt you were uncomfortable with, you would be following 10%. So basically, when you're saying that part of it is rejectable, you're pretty much saying the entire thing is rejectable, and that you're only doing it because you feel like it works for you on some level. It makes you happier to do it. But if it made you less happy to do it, you wouldn't. That's not following, to me, that's not following a faith. Now, to be fair, it's probably advantageous because I do think that faith, pretty much most major faiths, certainly the monotheistic faiths, I think that they help lead toward a healthier lifestyle than people who have no faith. So it perhaps is advantageous as far as ultimately leading toward a healthier lifestyle to the degree that people feel a certain level of faith. I'm simply saying I don't know, if you disagree with me, drop a comment down below. Let me know. But to me, it just feels like you're not really doing it because God told you to do it. You're doing it because it works for you. And look, there are advantages to it, societally and personally and emotionally, and just as far as healthier ethics than what you're going to get in TV or your education system. It's probably going to be healthier ethics by and large. So it's, I guess, to that degree, it's a good thing. But don't think that you're doing it because you actually are a person of faith. Just recognize you're doing it because that's what works best for you. See what I'm saying? It's a different thing. That's not worship. That's not worship of a God. That's worship of yourself, ultimately. Because if you're doing it for worship of a God, then you're at least willing to say that's sacrifice I should be making. As opposed to, this is what works for me. That means you're worshiping ultimately yourself. Because you're saying, I'm serving myself because this works for me. When I planned on sharing this clip, I didn't think about I was going to go down this whole theological discussion and analysis, but sometimes the show takes a left turn. What's a bad look? What's a bad look? I don't know what's a bad look here. Do I have some on my face?
Picking and choosing what you want, what you like. And you have a moral obligation not to be part of that. There is a moral obligation here not to be part of them, regardless of whatever other good things you might think the Democratic Party is trying to bring about. Murder is a line you cannot cross.
Very powerful admonition. Very, very powerful admonition. Just sent you a link to get a knockoff Dark MAGA hat on Amazon Prime. You can have it Friday, Thursday if you order in the next 15 minutes. I ordered something which I think is a knockoff. But I really want, the knockoffs I saw on Amazon were, the knockoffs I saw on Amazon, I was like, I don't like the way that thing's shaped. I don't like the way the top comes up there. I don't really like knockoffs. Put some Dark MAGA gear in local. I should. I keep meaning to take care of my affiliates thing, and I know I need to take care of it, like definitely before Christmas season. So look for that coming soon. He is part of the Latin Rite. They are traditional. Oh, there you go. The practical Torah view is that human life begins at conception. Akiva Tatz said that in a speech. I asked of his son about it, and he confirmed. Okay. But it's not considered a human life. It's not considered a human life. It's considered baltashkas, being wasteful. And we're prescribed from being wasteful. But abortion is considered being wasteful. Someone who kills a fetus doesn't get the same punishment as if they killed a human. So Torah does not look at it as if it has all the laws of being a human. With respect to rights of, it does have rights of inheritance if it's ultimately born. But there's a lot of ways. If you look in Yeridea, which is the section of Jewish law that addresses it, I think it comes up under the context of when they talk about abortion that it's a baltashkas issue, which means being wasteful. Baltashkas is the Hebrew for destruction. We're taught not to be wasteful. And that we permit abortion if the fetus is jeopardizing the life of the woman, and we view the fetus as if we view in that situation aborting a fetus as being similar to protecting her from an assailant who's coming to harm a woman. If an assailant is coming to harm a woman, is looking to kill a woman, and the only way to stop that assailant is to kill that assailant, you're directed to kill that assailant. So we sort of look at a fetus who's jeopardizing the life or limb of a mother as if it's a potentially lethal assailant. And I don't think the Catholic Church has a similar dispensation, from what I understand. I could be mistaken, and it could depend on which orthodoxy of the Catholic Church you're talking about. It could be disparate and distinct viewpoints on that, but that's one of the distinctions I've seen as to how Catholicism varies from, on this issue, varies from Torah perspective. Obviously, other issues. Illegal to make omelets with bald eagle eggs. Okay. That one lost me. I don't know. Tyler says, I think if you don't 100% follow faith to the T, which is impossible given there will always be a moral extreme interpretation, you shouldn't criticize others on how much they do or don't follow theirs. Okay. I'm not criticizing anyone. What I was engaging in was a philosophical thought. And I prefaced it by saying all of us struggle with various elements of or requirements of a faith. So I'm not saying you're a bad person if you fail to 100% follow your faith. What I was theorizing and speculating about is you can, even if you have failings in your ability to maintain what you're supposed to maintain under the doctrines of your faith, to reject them as something that you should at least be looking to overcome, and say that part is not meant for me, to me is inconsistent with being a person of faith. Because when I walk through why. That's not me passing judgment. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what he's doing, what she's doing. I don't know what anyone's doing. Well, frankly, I don't even know. I don't know what my next door neighbor is doing. Not with any certainty. And I don't know what anyone's going to do tomorrow. So even someone who seems like the most religious person on earth, you're never supposed to judge someone until they're dead as to what they're going to do tomorrow. So I'm not passing judgment. I'm not God. And I never profess to be God. I never profess to be someone who would ever pass judgment on someone. Frankly, I struggle and work really, really hard to be as non-judgmental as possible. because I think people who are judgmental are kind of douchebags, a-holes. I think they're terrible. It's a bad quality. And I wasn't meaning to be passing judgment. I was simply speculating as far as intellectual integrity and understanding what seems logical. And I'm throwing out and the thought I was throwing out there was, if you're saying that I can reject a portion of my faith as something that I ever need to try and address, or at least, contemplate how can I deal with that and overcome it. To me, that seems like ultimately it's a facial rejection of the divinity of your faith. You can disagree with me. That's different from saying there might be someone out there, for example, okay? Classic example, all right? Let's say in your faith it says you shouldn't gossip, okay? Which I think a lot of faiths have that. It's certainly a major part of Torah faith. Gossiping is bad. Don't gossip, don't gossip, don't gossip, don't gossip. Okay. Now, a lot of people struggle with that. They gossip. So if you want to tell me you struggle with it, and sometimes you give into the inclination to that, what I'd say is you're human. A lot of people do. A lot of people struggle with it. If you want to tell me you never have to try addressing it because that part's not meant for you, that to me is a rejection of your faith. So if someone says, no, someone says, look, I'm really struggling. A woman says, I'm really struggling with this whole situation here. I really want to get an abortion. And she's a Catholic. She's like, I really want to get an abortion because I'm terrified about this whole situation. And there's nothing with the health issues, but just financially and emotionally and psychologically and the struggle and all this other stuff. And she ends up going out and getting an abortion. Am I saying that she's someone who needs to be damned or she's a terrible human being? No, I'm not saying she is. And I think, frankly, that's probably more forgiving than a lot of than members of the Catholic faith would probably be. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that she's gonna be damned. I don't think that, from my perspective, I don't think that's true. But to say it's something that just like that, this is something that we should give license to, that people should be doing left and right, to me, that is abandoning. That's basically saying that part of our faith is gone. It's dead to us. We're not ever going to try and address it. We want to try and do everything we can to basically allow for abortion as much as possible. I don't understand. I agree with this priest over here, where it's like that you can't pick and choose. And if you are picking and choosing, you're basically saying that it's a statement about your belief in the entire structure of your faith. That's not passing judgment on a woman who gets an abortion. That's passing judgment on people who think that we should enable abortion as much as possible. Those are two different mindsets. There's a person who's actually dealing with a crisis and coming to a spiritual decision, whether it's on gossiping or it's an abortion, which are obviously very disparate type of things. But those to me, that's not passing judgment. I was simply just engaging in a philosophical discussion as to what are you actually saying when you say this part of my faith is not for me, and I never need to address it. That's not passing judgment on a person. I'm asking you, tell me where I'm wrong in what I said, instead of telling me that I'm passing judgment. And I appreciate you giving me this feedback, by the way. I hope you don't think I'm being critical of you, Tyler. I appreciate you giving me this feedback. I'm simply saying, if you think I made a mistake philosophically in what I'm saying, so point that out. Point out philosophically, we're like, no, this would make sense as to why it is that that's not considered an abandonment of their faith. Well, I might have missed something. That's possible. I did early voting. Good job. I watched to make sure my ballot went in and was counted. We all have to vote. We got to get these sickos out of office. You go, Lily. I just had a MAGA Elon Musk hat sent to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. How did you have it sent to me? You know where I live? Thank you. That's very thoughtful. That's, wow. God, I'm going to give you the horn. Give you the horn. You shall not murder. The doctrine of the church is that it's intrinsically evil. Respect for this priest. We usually don't address the subject. Yeah. It's not an easy thing to go out there and say. As you know, you're going to get a lot of arrows for it. Michigan X came to my door today trying to talk me into voting for Harris. I spent 15 minutes telling her why I shouldn't. I'm so glad you sent this.
You cannot be.
I'm so glad you sent this because I was like, I need to tell everyone about Donna. I need to tell everybody on my show about Donna because this came up for me today. Okay? I'm so glad you brought this up. Member of 10 for 10 months. God bless you, Robert Pennington. And thank you for mentioning this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I need to start and say, woe unto you. Woe unto you if you mistake me for someone else. Wrong number, mistext me, and you think I'm someone else. Because usually I'm very often on board, and usually that's where I find my sorts of entertainment. Well, that's why I need to talk to you about Donna. All of you probably saying, who the heck is Donna? I don't remember seeing a Donna in the chat. Lady Lawgic never heard of Donna. She has no idea who Donna is. The answer to that question is apparently, I am Donna.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's true. It's true. I am Donna. This is not some statement about my psychological or emotional state or a reflection on my masculinity. No. But apparently, there are a lot of folks out there who think I am Donna. What? This morning, I got a text. I got a text. I'll read it to y'all. Hi, Donna. In New York, we believe in reproductive freedom, freedom from climate change, and freedom to earn a living wage. But MAGA Republicans plan to crush those freedoms. Fight back. Register by 10/26 and vote for John Avalon. Send me this today. All right. Vote for John Avalon and Democrats who fight for all our freedoms. And some stupid link or something like that. This is not the first person who has called me or texted me thinking I am Donna. I get phone calls all the time from car loan places, insurance places. Now, I've had this phone number for this phone for what, 20 years? 20 years. I'm guessing. It's probably more than that because I got this phone when I was working in Long Island, right? So, and that was like more than 20 years ago. So more than 2 decades, I've had this phone. And ever since I've had this phone number, and for 2 decades, I have gotten, I want to say 2 to 3 times a month, a phone call, a text, someone asking for Donna. I get this all the time for 20 years. It's true. It's true. So apparently a lot of folks, I don't know who this Donna is. It could be you, Donna, if you're watching right now. You need to fix this. You need to fix this mess. I don't know if Donna went around giving out. I don't know if she ever had this phone number or if it's just sort of like Donna has like my phone number. You know how like some women, like they meet a guy and they're like, they don't want to give him their actual number. So they make up a fake phone number and like, oh yeah, here's the number. And they just, and the next thing you know, it's actually someone's phone number. So folks keep calling. But I seriously get hailed and assailed. And just today, I got this text. Hi, Donna. Apparently, Donna believes in reproductive freedom. I responded to them by basically saying reproductive freedom now means that if there's a botched abortion in Minnesota, i.e. the baby accidentally comes out alive, the state permits the mother and doctor to starve the baby to death on the table. How can you live with yourself promoting that kind of crap? Really? How? I'm awaiting a response eagerly. That was sent. That was sent more than that was like 10 hours ago. They haven't responded yet. They may not like Donna so much.
Maybe they'll stop calling.
Maybe. Donna has all sorts of financial problems. I can tell you that. I can tell you right now. Donna's got issues. She's got life issues. I'm waiting for the day she's paid off all her debts and doesn't have student loans, doesn't have car loans, doesn't have payments needed on credit cards. Donna's got financial issues. And I shouldn't joke about it. We've all had financial issues from time to time. That's going to happen. Apparently, she doesn't like getting phone calls about her financial issues because all of them come here. So, yes, I appreciate that when someone comes to your door. I like that mindset. They're trying to talk you into something. Talk them back. Talk them back into it. God bless you. Just Ron said, you went down this hole because someone here needed to hear it. Upload my emojis for the members using the chat. They're freaking awesome. They are pretty awesome. I would actually make some requests of you, Just Rhonda. Just Rhonda's created emojis for my chat that I have not yet uploaded. I would make some requests. Definitely need diggers. Definitely need digger emojis. Definitely. Maybe some virgin volcano things or something like that. Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid. Definitely want Kool-Aid. People, because, yeah. Basically, if you ever hear me go through how we're not at all a cult type of cult, that would be helpful. That'd be amazing. But God willing, I do intend to upload them. And thank you. Thank you so much. I'm criticizing everyone. You all look funny. I get that a lot. Faith is not something you debate. I wasn't debating. It was sort of like, although you might be, I'm not sure if you're addressing that. I'm not sure if you're saying that with me or against me. But either way, I'm certainly not debating. I think Catholics ask a rabbi, a priest, when the fetus is a rodef. You and I will be splitting Torah hairs on conception and abortion. Probably true. Joe, you goob, it's illegal to eat or even touch all kinds of protected animal eggs, but nearly complete, almost born humans. Sure, it make sense. Ah, that's what you meant with the whole eagle things. Illegal to make omelets with bald eagle eggs. Yep. You're saying they're more protected than humans. I basically said, if you heard about somebody who went around aborting cats, they can have a new litter every 52 days. They went around aborting cats. You would think they're a monster. The left would be screaming, throw the person in jail. I'd be screaming louder than anyone. By the way, my first word Shiva said, if you want to be a tzaddik, you should be done the kaf's chus, but if you want to be right, judge others. All right. Just saying that by that logic, nobody's ever fully embracing the faith because there'll always be someone who's always saying they're discarding one part or another. I don't think that's true. You can say, look, this is an area I really struggle. I'm not saying you need to be fighting it on a daily basis even. I'm simply saying at least to recognize that it's that you're in the wrong. That's all I was saying, Tyler. Instead of saying, that's not. As opposed to creating opportunities for everyone to be violating that part of your faith. Enjoy a philosophical talk on religious topics. Oh, thank you. Is Lady Lawgic a lady? Very much so. Yes. I don't know. You can ask Wellesley what he meant by that. If you buy Joe advertising ID, you can also F around with Joe. Kind of like debt collection BS calls. That's true. That is true. Printer guy, hit me with the 20. Due to the life conception question, abortion falls under individual soul liberty guided by the Holy Spirit in Christian doctrine. Sin is defined by God's word, not a church. Okay. There's a lot here. Catholicism is different from most Christians. Due to the life conception question, abortion falls under individual soul liberty guided by the Holy Spirit in Christian doctrine. So in other words, the reason it's murder is because you're saying that there's a soul in the fetus, so that's why it's murder. That's what I think you're saying. Sin is defined by God's word, not a church. So you're saying that the church is misdefining it? We do recognize a soul going into a fetus, by the way. But I believe that I haven't looked into this because it's not an issue that really comes up in Jewish life on a common basis. But my recollection is that we think that there's a change in the status of the baby 40 days after conception, which is roughly 6 weeks. And that's like a new thing. Like that was like an accepted premise, at least going back 2,000 years. Catholicism is different from most Christians. That's true. So the soul questions, that's real. Now we're really getting theological here. I was getting philosophical about what it means to be religious, as opposed to getting philosophical about a specific religion. If that makes sense. I was getting philosophical as like, is this religious? Is this not religious? But I'm just looking at the individual rather than looking at a religion and then trying to assess the logic in a religion itself. Jeremy says, as Christians, Jesus commanded us to protect the children. Each person, including unborn children, gifts from God, as we're made in his image. That's what I've heard. That's consistent with everything I've heard from Christians. So... I don't talk much about the Middle East. I don't like talking about the Middle East. But I had 2 videos that I stumbled on. Last night, I stumbled on a gold mine of just like one video after another that was just like gold, 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 gold. And then I came to this one with Bernie Sanders coming out and giving his thoughts on the election and why people need to support Kamala Harris, then why they need to come out and support Kamala Harris. And he started talking about the Middle East because he knows that a lot of people in the Democratic Party are very big into free Palestine. Bernie Sanders, despite his DNA, happens to be a self-hating, rabid, anti-Israel, anti-Jew, not very big supporter of Bibi Netanyahu, strongly aligned with the Free Palestine camp. And right after I saw that, I saw a different video. And I'm going to share it with you in exactly the order that I saw it.
And that is why I am doing everything I can to block U.S. military aid and offensive weapons sales to the right-wing extremist Netanyahu government in Israel. And
this is his humanitarian. He's trying to block weapons going to Netanyahu.
I know that many of you share those feelings.
He's talking to all the Jew-hating Democrats who are basically like, yeah, genocide.
And some of you are saying, how can I vote for Kamala Harris if she is supporting this terrible war? And that is a very fair question. And let me give you my best answer. And that is that even on this issue, Donald Trump and his right-wing friends are worse. In the Senate, in Congress, the Republicans have worked overtime to block humanitarian aid to the starving children in Gaza.
Is that where the aid is actually going? Is it where it's actually ending up with them?
The president and vice president both support getting as much humanitarian aid into Gaza as soon as possible. Trump has...
That's what they want to do, is kick all our money out. Kick all our money out there.
Said that...
Kick your money out there.
Netanyahu is doing a good job and has said Biden is holding him back.
He is. Both are.
He has suggested...
Trump was right on both of them.
...that the Gaza Strip would make excellent beachfront property for development. And it is no wonder Netanyahu prefers to have Donald Trump in office.
That's probably true.
But even more importantly, and this I promise you, after Kamala wins, we will together do everything that we can to change U.S. policy toward Netanyahu. An immediate ceasefire, the return of all hostages.
You You think Hamas is just going to return hostages? That's going to happen now a year later? That's what you think is just going to happen? They've had every opportunity to return hostages for a ceasefire. It's like all of a sudden she's going to wave a magic wand. Also, it's like, what is the spell? What is the spell? What is her wand made out of? What is it? Oak with dragon heartstring that she's just going to like just wave at Hamas and be like, give back the hostages? Like, what's she going to say? I want to know what the spell is. Is it going to be Hostagio Relisio? Is that what she's going to do? I just want to know. A freaking year. That's what's going to happen? And then what does he want after that? A surge of humanitarian aid for these self-destructive.
A surge of massive humanitarian aid, the stopping of settler attacks on the West Bank.
There were no settler attacks on the West Bank in the last 17 years, you lying, self-hating Jew.
And the rebuilding of Gaza for the Palestinian people. And let me be clear, we will have, in my view, a much better chance of changing U.S. policy with Kamala than with Trump, who is extremely close to Netanyahu and sees him as a like-minded, right-wing extremist ally.
So I saw this lunatic, and I got this clip, and what was frustrating is I was getting a string of one awesome clip, funny clip after another, or like amazing clip, and then all of a sudden this came up. And the very next clip I got right after that, the very next one, which I was like, I should share this clip with him, was this clip, 1:41 of, oh, look, Palestinian kids. Oh, let's see what they have to say. What do these Palestinian kids have to say? Oh, the ones he wants to give the humanitarian aid to. And frankly, look, I think they're poisoned, but
لأنه نعمل حرب إنه نفرجي اليهود إنه إحنا مش إنه إحنا مش شاطرين إحنا قوايا كمان. في ناس بحبوا فلسطين بدهم يحاربوا وبضحوا بدمهم عشان فلسطين. أنا بدي أهزمهم بالحرب. بدي أهزمهم.
بيعلمونا إنه الأقصى إلنا وإلنا يعني الحق يعني إلنا فلسطين والأراضي كلها إلنا لأنهم بسبب كذبهم وانتهاكاتهم إنهم يقولون إنه الهيكل تحت المسجد الأقصى ولا مرة إنه يكون الهيكل تحت المسجد الأقصى.
That's not what we say. We say it actually was there and that it was destroyed by God's decree through the hands of the Romans. And that the only remnant, and that land we consider to be very holy because that's where the temple used to stand, and the only remnant is the Wailing Wall.
أنا أقرأ اليهود بعلمونا إن الصهيونية هم أعدائنا وهم أهم شيء لازم يسوي فيهم عملية.
يعني إنهم بيعلمونا بالمدرسة إنهم إرهابيين
بيحكوا لنا عن اليهود. إنهم هدول مش منيح وهدول بقتلوا قاعدين بشبابنا. بيحكوا لنا هدول غدارين. وبيحكوا لنا إنه هدول بغدرونا هدول مش منيح. إذا بطعن بدعس عليهم. عمل عمليات. كيف يعني؟ الدعس. عمليات الدعس، عمليات الطعن والاشتباك المسلح في المخيمات.
إيش أكيد هدول العمليات ترفع الراس ولفلسطين. العمليات هاي تحت الدعس والسكاكين هاي إشي بيرفع الراس لفلسطين.
إذا بدك بطلع بستشهد عادي. أنا إن شاء الله أساعد الشباب وإن شاء الله أصير مقاوم بالمستقبل مع الدولة الإسلامية.
There you go. There you go. That's the video I saw. That's the video I saw right after I saw Bernie Sanders. So aggravating. So incredibly aggravating. I think I'm going to share that. I'm going to post that right here. That's the wrong one. Dang it. Dang it. Delete. Delete. That's coming next. Such a boomer. Wow. Unbelievable. All right, we need to talk about this because this is awesome. This is awesome, and it fits in very well with what we were just talking about. CNN Roundtable. Who was it that shared this with me? It's Allegan News who shared this with me. Thank you, Allegan News. Share this with me first. And then I stumbled on it later, and I was like, oh my God. I need to spend 20 minutes doing this. I need to spend 20 minutes doing this. But first, let me check on a few things here as to what's going on. I haven't looked over in the ghetto for a while. Then he says, wait a minute. Now I was told my whole life that the starving kids were Ethiopian. Now I'm just confused. That's pretty funny. Anyone who's pro-choice needs to watch an abortion video, see what they think after that. That's a great call, Denise. Joe, as a Catholic, I completely agree with that. This priest actually saw this video earlier and loved it. Oh, cool. Heck, I missed Stick saying they pulled some effery in Bucks County, Pennsylvania tonight, closed the early voting polls by 1:30 when they were supposed to be opened by 4:30. I saw that, and I was like, I don't have time to really digest this story, which is why I didn't cover it. Maybe I'll be able to cover it tomorrow. All right. We need to watch this, and we need to have a discussion about this. Mehdi Hassan. Mehdi. Author of Win Every Argument.
If you don't want to be called Nazis.
It's funny because I don't remember seeing him win arguments. But this is them talking about the whole Nazi rally.
Stop doing.
You're called an anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people will sit there and no, by me. I never.
You can see that this is going well. Can you close captioning here? No. All right. I'm gonna make it a little louder. We're gonna do this slowly because there's a lot of over talking each other. So we sort of need to watch how this whole conversation just goes sideways and CNN starts losing it. You know what? First, let's watch the entire clip. I'm gonna watch it uninterrupted, and then we'll break it down slowly.
Called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians. So I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
you just say I should die?
You should not.
No,
did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did your guest just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope you.
Let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you said I'm a supporter
of the Palestinians.
Hamas.
Guys, let me
stop. Palestinian.
Are you?
Am I what? No, of course I'm not.
Are
you a racist, violent person inciting violence against
Ryan?
Inciting violence.
No, I apologize.
Inciting violence.
Say the Muslim guy should be blown up.
I apologize
on TV.
Don't say then I apologize. You literally.
I thought you said Hamas.
You didn't think I said Hamas. I said I supported Palestinian rights.
Yes, I did.
Why? Because when you hear
what's funny is Rudy Giuliani said this yesterday, so you're a great guest to be here to defend Rudy Giuliani.
I wasn't going to entertain nonsense today, and so at this point,
this is what we're in now. This is America.
Here we go. This is now. I want to just point this out. We're going to go back. Don't worry. But I'll let her have her say.
Forget the racism.
That's right.
It's I should die.
I didn't say that. You should
die. What does beeper mean?
Where did you say that?
I did not say you should die.
Why did you say with my beeper?
What did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
I said.
What did you mean by the beeper? No, you didn't. You said I hope the beeper doesn't go off. At least have the guts to support your racist comment.
This is why yesterday's rally was disgusting.
Don't call us Nazis, but I'm going to threaten the brown guy as a terrorist and kill him.
Outrageous.
I didn't ever say Donald Trump was Hitler. But do you know who stood on a stage yesterday and said, I want to come to the Nazi rally? I don't have to make up words and call you something. You're saying it for yourself. And what you just said
Kamala
right
Harris
here,
is a pimp.
apologize, but I will tell you, I don't accept that apology, and you didn't even say it to me.
I didn't say
that
it to
was
you.
disgusting. But I can be offended when you don't even say it to me.
No one
I'm not
cares.
Puerto Rican,
No one cares
but I was
if you are.
offended by what he said
No one
yesterday.
cares, and you
I'm
weren't.
offended that the
You weren't offended.
former president and potentially
You
future
weren't.
president would allow it and go for 12 hours and not say, I don't care. Because you know what? When Kamala Harris put out statements about switching of opinions, it wasn't good enough for Republicans.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you said it.
Why don't you take this back a little?
Everything about that clip is amazing. Everything about that clip is amazing. All right, we need to review. Now that you got the full appreciation for the clip. Now that we got the full clip. Let's do this slow.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing.
You're called
See, that's pretty stupid because you're trivializing what Nazis did. You're saying stop doing what Nazis did. Oh yeah, really? Really? Is that why they were remembered being so evil? Because they said mean things? Is that why they're considered historically evil? So historically evil that you invoke them all the time? Is it because they said mean things? Or they said borderline kind of slightly offensive things? Is that what the whole thing was? Because long before there was a Holocaust, long before that, they were literally walking down the street spitting in the faces of Jews. Long before there was a Holocaust, there was Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht was the night of broken glass, where they basically were smashing Jewish businesses and breaking the glass windows of any businesses that were run by Jews. Long before there was a Holocaust, the Nazis were establishing what they were in ways that are so much infinitely worse, thankfully, than anything any race has endured on this continent in over a century. So, yeah, whatever your wounded feelings are about like someone making a joke about Puerto Rico, which was, frankly, I said, kind of a tasteless and stupid joke to make in the situation. Not very funny, but it's a joke. You're comparing that to stop doing Nazi things. That is not a Nazi thing. That's not at all a Nazi thing. And you're trivializing just how evil the Nazis are when you start saying, stop doing Nazi things, because thankfully, nobody in this country has been doing Nazi things in the last century.
Called an anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people with
pretty much since the existence of the Nazis, no one's been doing Nazi type things.
No, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing.
Now, what did he say there? He said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off, which was clearly a joke. Actually kind of funny. And it's also saying, I hope you don't die by having a beeper go off. Even though you're like, pro-Palestinian person, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. Literally is saying, I hope you don't die even though you're a Palestinian. What does Mehdi Hassan do? Author of How to Win an Argument, he just completely gaslights and changes the meaning of what he just said.
Thing is that
you just say I should die?
Nope, exactly the opposite. Technically, is what he was saying. He's saying, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
You should not.
No,
you just said I should be killed.
No, if anything, he implied you were a terrorist. That's what he was saying. He was like, yeah, you're probably a terrorist, by implying that you have a beeper. That's what he really was saying.
No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did you just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope
Guys, let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
You said I'm a supporter
of the Palestinians.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you're a terrorist. That's what the joke was. This guy's totally right. It's a pretty funny joke, actually.
Us
guys, let me
said
stop.
Palestinian.
Are you?
Am I what? No, of course I'm not.
I apologize.
Are you a racist, violent person inciting violence against me?
Inciting violence against you're inciting violence against me. And he's not actually triggered. He's just trying to play victim because that's what the left loves to do. So he's playing victim and completely doing a 180 on what the point of the joke was. Because the point of the joke was you're a terrorist, not that I hope you die. Those are two totally different statements. But Mehdi Hassan in order to win an argument, basically has to reframe the entire point as to what was thrown at him. That couldn't win an argument with a 10-year-old.
Ryan,
That's disgusting.
that is completely.
No, I apologize.
That
Good job,
is
CNN. Let's have
completely
first
out
block
of
say the
pocket.
Muslim guy
You
should
know
be
that.
blown
No, I
up.
apologize.
No, he just said he shouldn't be blown up. You're such a gaslighting lighter. And these idiots who are all circle jerking around Mehdi Hassan to try and say, wow, that was so totally offensive, what you just said to him, are just classic loser morons who are trying to pretend that something terrible just happened because he made a joke about this guy being a terrorist. But they're pretending that the joke was hoping that this guy would die.
I apologize.
Don't say then.
He said, then I apologize. If that's how you're taking it, then I apologize. This clown face wearing how much makeup, I don't even know, woman is basically trying to say, then I apologize. She's like, don't say then I apologize as if it wasn't obviously a terribly evil thing what you just did, which it wasn't.
And I apologize. You literally.
I thought you said Hamas.
You didn't think I said Hamas.
No,
I
you
said I
didn't.
supported
Yes, I did.
Palestinian
Yes, I
rights.
did.
Why? Because when you hear
What's funny
Palestinian,
is
He there was actually starting to back away by saying, I didn't think he said Hamas. I don't know why he backed away. If he had a little more cojones, he would have basically said, did the joke go over your head? Or are you just lying right now? Are you just gaslighting? Because that's how you win arguments.
Rudy Giuliani said this yesterday, so you're a great guest to be here.
all right.
That's a powerful point. You can see like he's sort of like he's like feeling all emotional in this moment, Mehdi Hassan.
And
I
Rudy
told
Giuliani.
myself I wasn't going to entertain nonsense today, and so at this point,
This is what we're in
I
now.
can't
This
do
is America in 2020.
Okay, so now all of a sudden, like other clown-faced idiot over here has to weigh in because she's very important. She's a central part of this exchange here between this dude whose name I have no idea who he is and Mehdi Hassan.
What I will say.
Forget the
Here's what
racism.
That's right.
It's I should
That's
die.
right.
I should die with this whole proud thing there. A loser. Yeah, that totally happens. That totally happened. We no one watched what he said. No one heard what he said. You're the only one who heard what he said.
This is America in 2024.
Here's what I will say.
Forget the
Here's what
racism.
That's right.
It's I should
That's
die.
right.
I didn't say that.
I think he's embarrassed to admit that the joke was, I was calling you a terrorist, not saying you should die. I was saying, even though you're a terrorist, I hope you don't die. That's really what he was saying.
You said, what does beeper mean? Don't give me your finger.
What does beeper mean? Beeper is something that people use to call people and leave a phone number or a forwarding phone number. That's what a beeper means.
You should
Guys,
die.
Why did you say with my beeper?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper? No, you didn't. You said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan, stop talking.
At least have the guts to support your racist.
This woman over here is Brian. Stop talking. This is so emasculating. Like, how dare he make a joke? Now we need to emasculate him and tell him to shut up while all these other idiots are lying about what he just said. What an embarrassment this show is.
I'm so sorry.
Gotta bring it back.
This is why. Yes.
Now we're gonna get the definitive idiot. The queen of all idiots is gonna weigh in here with just how stinking offended she is, because her feelings are the most important part in this moment. Oh, someone who this is like how self-involved do you have to be to think that this is your moment? How self-involved do you have to be to think that whether or not you're offended is at all relevant here? Like, seriously, how twisted is your mindset? You're like, my level of offense here is something that needs to be addressed. You need to address my level. Why? Who the hell are you? Please don't tell me her name. I don't ever want to know.
Yesterday's rally was disgusting.
Don't call us Nazis, but I'm going to threaten the brown guy as a terrorist and kill him.
Because
that's what he's doing. He's threatening the brown guy. Now this is a threat. Oh my God, his life is in jeopardy. He's inciting all sorts of violence against him.
I didn't ever say Donald Trump was Hitler, but
okay.
Do you know who stood on a stage yesterday and said, I want to come to the Nazi rally? I don't have to make up words.
Yeah, they're mocking you for calling it a Nazi rally. If not you personally, then all the other morons who are calling it a Nazi rally, they're like, yeah, I want to be here at the Nazi rally because they think it's your joke. They think you're morons. So that's why they're saying it. But now you're trying to pretend that when they're saying a joke, that they're actually telling the truth. When they're mocking you, oh, you're so pathetic. This is so sad. This is so sad.
And call you something. You're saying it for yourself.
No, we're mocking you. We're mocking you that you had the audacity to compare the MSG rally to a Nazi rally. They're like, yeah, this is totally a Nazi rally. This is the worst Nazi rally ever. All these Jews walking around here throwing phylacteries on, doing their prayer services with their Israeli flags. This is the crappiest Nazi rally ever. I want to come to this Nazi rally. Yeah, they're mocking you for being so childish and frankly intellectually vapid that you're lazy, that you just fall back to Nazi. That's what they're mocking you. But since you don't know how to handle that mockery, you're pretending that they were saying it seriously. Like, oh yeah, we're here at the Nazi rally. Oh yeah, we're really excited by being the Nazi. Child, so stupid.
And what you just said
Kamala
right
Harris is
here,
a pimp.
apologize, but I will tell you, I don't accept that apology. And you
No one needs to give a damn. No one gives a damn. You're not actually offended. This is what I want to point out to you. None of these people here are offended. None of them. No. This is not, she wasn't offended. Mehdi Hassan wasn't offended. This was just an opportunity. He made a joke, and this is the exact same thing that frankly happened with Kill Tony. He made a joke, and that opened up an opportunity. That opportunity only manifests if you pretend you're offended. So now I'm all offended, and I have the right to, now I'm a victim, and I have a right to come down on my oppressor who just made a joke. They're sitting here basically trying to use his joke as a platform for them to climb up on a platform, get up on a soapbox, and just show about how morally and emotionally superior they are to everyone else, particularly whoever made that joke. That's all this is. These are insecure people who are desperate for attention, desperate for recognition, desperate for validation, trying to show how insightful and intelligent they are and what huge victims they are and how much special attention they need because they feel personally offended by some stupid joke. Rather than just being like, no, that's exactly why you deserve no attention. Because you're trying to bully people with fake emotion. That's why you deserve zero attention, lady. Because you trying to bully people with a fake emotion you're not even really feeling. Because why the hell would you be offended? What does that mean? I'm offended. You can say, I think it was offensive what you said to him, but you're not the one who's offended. Stupid.
You didn't even say it to me. That was disgusting. But I can be offended when you don't even say it to me.
No, you can't. No. You could be outraged. You can say, wow, I disrespect this person, but that's not offended. Those are two different things. You could say, you know what? I think that person is slime. Like I would say to you, I think this woman is human slime. I think that she's an insecure, unintelligent carnival barker who's desperate for attention. So I'm looking at her and I have zero respect for her. I'm not offended by her. No matter what she said, I wouldn't be offended. But but she's pretending that she's offended.
I'm not Puerto Rican, but I was offended by what.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Nope. It just gave you a soapbox. If anything, you were excited when you saw it. You're like, oh, goody, look how I'll be able to show how virtuous I am that I'll stand up for the Puerto Ricans.
What he said yesterday. And I'm offended that the former president and potentially future president would allow it and go for 12 hours and not say, I don't care. Because you know what? When Kamala Harris put out statements about switching up opinions, it wasn't good enough for Republicans.
Why are you looking at me?
What the hell does that have to do with anything? What the hell? This crazy eyes woman. What the hell are you? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No. People have an issue with Kamala because she's constantly contradicting herself and is inconsistent with every position she's ever held before. That's the issue they have with her.
Because you said it.
Why don't you take this back a little?
So there you go. There you go. Speaking of Kamala Harris, I should point out to you, she made the calculated, moronic decision to tell Joe Rogan, I'm not coming on your show. I'm not coming down to you in Austin, Texas. Because Joe Rogan, extended an invitation. He said, I had Donald Trump on here for 3 hours. I'd love to have you on here for 3 hours. They said, Kamala's team said, she's not coming to you for 3 hours, but if you want, you can come to her for an hour. Joe Rogan said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not coming to you. I want to have it here. I'm more comfortable with that. And I don't need just 1 hour. I need 3 hours. So, because I want, and he did handle it exceedingly diplomatically, where he was like, I'd like to have a conversation with her so I get to understand her better as a human being. And folks, some folks were very bothered by this notion, very bothered that a podcaster would have the audacity to start demanding terms of the vice president rather than getting down on his hands and knees and thanking her for the opportunity to actually have a conversation with him. That's what they were thinking. So we had this here. Joe Rogan expecting Harris to travel to his studio for a 3-hour interview in the last 7 days of the election is actually insane. It just made me think like she doesn't want to go there either. She didn't want to go to the border. She didn't want to go to the border. She doesn't want to go to Joe Rogan. It just made me think if she hasn't been to Europe either. The only week to election, why would she waste 3 hours to do an appearance that would be viewed tens of millions of times? That one appearance is reaching more folks than every appearance she did probably since the DNC. If you take out the DNC, probably, I don't want to exaggerate, certainly over the next week. Certainly over the next week. Yeah. So she said she's not willing to do it. She's not willing to come down to him for 3 hours when he said, I'm not budging on this. And all these folks were basically having this back and forth conversation with me. Look at this. I got 14 comments on this. All these people have all these different thoughts. Say my Rogan's audience who aren't voting for anyway. Oh, these are people who like me. I don't know if it'd be hundreds of millions. It could be. But the big mistake that I don't remember who I said it to, someone else. Maybe it was down in this show replies. Was it here? I don't remember where it was. But a lot of these folks here are so stupid in that they don't realize that he doesn't need her. What does he make out of it? He's got a $250 million contract with Spotify. Guy's got a $250 million contract with Spotify. Does he make anything? Anything? Other than maybe getting helping get a new contract? But is it going to be viewed as much as the Donald Trump thing? Only if Kamala completely flatlines in the middle. That's what would need to happen for her to do something really humiliating, which frankly probably would happen. Not going to kid you. High likelihood of that happening. But he doesn't need to have her. His life is not going to be changed at all. Yeah, slightly better. This is a chance for her to save a dying political career. She might be 1 week away from her political career being DOA. Completely. If she loses next week, that is her career. She'll ride out the last 2 months as a lame duck vice president and never be heard from again. No one's ever going to touch her. No one's ever going to support her, throw her money. No one's ever voting for her for anything if she loses next week. Never again. Her numbers are slipping and slipping and slipping. She's like on this, like, it's like she's on like one of those like long tubes, like those long slides that go down into a pool. And she's like, you can hear this screech. And she's like trying to like hold on as she's sliding and sliding down. And now she has an opportunity basically to get, like, if she actually could come off as being a human being, which frankly I think is asking a lot from her. But if she could do that, this is the most amazing lifeline in the world for her. Of like, oh my God, if I can just look somewhat human for 3 hours, I might spend the next 8 years in the White House. That's the stakes for her. 0 political future, or potentially up to 8 years in the White House. And he is the best lifeline she has. I can't go to Austin for 3 hours. Can't do that. And these idiots are all like, how dare he? Who does he think he is? Isn't he just a podcaster? What is he thinking? Who does he think he is? You need to all stop thinking of your politicians as royalty. Stop thinking of civil servants as royalty. Especially when their association with you is far more beneficial to them than it is to you. Get your head out of their ass and stop thinking like, oh, they're so special and important. The office should be treated with respect. Frankly, I think we don't give the office of the presidency enough respect. So I don't want anyone to think that I'm disrespecting the office. The office is worthy of respect. But here's the reality in 2024. A powerful social media influencer arguably has more power than a politician. Which is reality. You tell me, who has more power? Ted Cruz or Elon Musk? Who's able to influence more people? Who's able to influence more countries? Who's able to sway public opinion, which is what everyone cares about in 2024? Who? The vice president? Think Mike Pence? Think Mike Pence ever had the kind of sway that a Ben Shapiro, who's a small piece, the size is tiny compared to Joe Rogan? You think that Mike Pence ever had the influence that a Ben Shapiro has? Much less a Joe Rogan? No. So, yeah, I do think that we should treat the office, certainly in face, we should be critical of them. I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying. Should be highly critical of them, especially when they're evil and terrible people. In a face-to-face meeting with them, we should be respectful of the office. I think that's how we maintain our own dignity. But let's not get it twisted that they're actually born royalty. Especially when there's some sort of desperate individual like Kamala Harris, who was more gifted her position than virtually anyone you can think of. I've got like 3 dozen more. I've got a whole bunch of clips I want to share with you all. I know I'm 2.5 hours in. I barely scratched the surface. And I need to check on my goal. Did I meet my goal? Oh. All right, I didn't meet my goal. You might see that I have a goal up there of 50 super chats. If you're looking in the chat, of 50 super chats. I said I would go for an extra hour. And here I'm probably going to go for an extra hour anyway. All right. Let me get some of these chats. I'm going to start with the rants because the ghetto, I feel like I've been mean to the ghetto tonight. No. Okay. Ghetto got nothing for me. I'm good with the ghetto. Van says, Gaza's nice beachfront, but this is the first Bernie talking about anything in this war because he was a pussy, not willing to put his D on the line. Standard Gino. Yep. Yep. All right. I haven't looked at super chats in a while, so I got a bunch that backed up here on me. The soul enters the mother's womb on the 5th week of pregnancy, which is when fetus starts changing. That's when the brain starts to develop too. All right. So I was saying 6 weeks. We say 40 days, which is between the 5th and 6 weeks. What if there's a finite number of souls? This is now we're getting into religious doctrine. I don't even want to start that. I'm 2.5 hours and I'm not starting that now. Sorry, Lady Lawgic, making a joke about Donna. Oh, that's what that comment was. Is Lady Lawgic a lady? I don't know how that's a joke about Donna, though. Why is God keeping Bernie alive, my precious heir? Joe, I miss your father. I hope he's doing well. I would love to see him again and hear his insights on the current scene in a world gone mad. Thank God my dad is doing well. I actually saw him tonight. Yeah. Joe, the community is really no longer allowed to play not only the video, but now anything with Bernie Sanders. Not only the View, not only the View, but anything with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is weaky. Locals chat. Yeah, I got locals chat. I got that. This team wants to eliminate Jews are Nazis. Yeah, they are the Nazis. Joe, flip New York. Call your buddies. Bring in a cold front on the 5th or some snow flurries. No. We need people to come to the ballot on. If we have any chance, you need people to come to the ballot on the 5th. Remember, black women can do no wrong. Apparently, that's what she thinks. The PR joke was on point. Ask anyone from there. The U.S. might as well not even have it as a U.S. territory. We're going to let it be a third world fire dump. And it is. It is. Yeah, I was talking about that yesterday, how it's actually technically true, that it is like basically a landfill. And that's what a lot of Puerto Ricans say. Hope your beaver does not go off after he was called a Nazi. Sounds fair back and forth. Yeah. You're calling me a Nazi, I'm calling you a terrorist. Remember his conversation started with him calling him a Nazi. Yeah, that's a great point. It's a great point. Joe, emergency committee meeting, CNN is banned too. Only libs watch CNN and they agree with this garbage. They're mindless and this is their material. No. I need to be able to cover some stuff that they're talking about. Only so we can learn from it. Let's review the very first part of the video. He calls the other guy a Nazi. Yeah. Stop doing Nazi things. Hunley and Grobert acting like the PR joke lost a ton of votes. Mark talked like KT killed Tony. Didn't sell out MSG by itself. Mark is so out of touch. I don't think it helped because it just sort of awakened the flavor of there being racism that's lying dormant. And this is the problem with the venue. It reawakened the flavor that there is racism that's dormant in the GOP and specifically in MAGA. It gave an opportunity. Why would you give them an opportunity to twist for such a bad joke, to twist in the mind of the public that you see there's burning dormant racism at the heart of the GOP. That's just going to pop out as soon as he wins the election. That's what the left wants to sell. That lie is what they want to sell. And all you did was you just gave them fodder. You gave them fuel for that. Why would you give them fuel for that? Why would you do that? It's so stupid. So I think it was the stupidest thing in the world that Kill Tony did. Do I think it's actually going to ignite into anything? No, I think it's doubtful. But why even play around with it? Why would you just like, why do you come to like a little fire with like a whole gasoline tank like that? Like, how stupid do you have to be? Because it just feeds the lie. All you did was feed the lie. When does Joe Rogan have the ability to go on the road? He doesn't have a mobile studio or anything close to it. No, that's what he said. He's like, I don't do road shows. That's not what I do. But thanks, Joe. Now I know that 5-foot mounds of crap can talk and be female and have crazy eyes. You're welcome. Ron, the deep state will keep her in Congress. Who is that? That woman's in Congress? Oh, keep Kamala in Congress? Nah. Deep state doesn't like her. Nobody likes her. Nobody likes her. Do I have to show you the video again from yesterday where everyone's like, she's terrible? Do you know how much they hate the fact that they have to pump her up now? They hate her. No one likes her. No one on the left likes her. You check out any video from 4 months ago of Joe Scarborough. They're talking about what a drag she is on the entire party and how she's awful. That's what I'm saying. Sure, her career is done. They're not going to try and keep her around. She's over. The only way she can salvage anything in the minds of the left is if she manages to somehow, God forbid, be declared a winner next week. Joe, it isn't about them not dating.
It's for all the media.
Oh, what's going on?
All Mexican Americans.
I know what that is.
Hispanic Americans to vote.
I don't know how that popped up. It isn't about them not dating to allow themselves to go to him. It's because they cannot let him control the editing release. Maybe. Frankly, I think they know that she cannot weather 3 hours of talking to Joe Rogan without looking disastrous. Oh, I forgot to tell you all the upshot of it. So since she's not going on, JD Vance is going on for 3 hours tomorrow. Such a loser, Kamala. Now you got 3 hours of JD Vance instead of. What do you think is better for the Kamala Harris campaign? I don't know. Frankly, maybe it is better for the Kamala Harris campaign to basically, instead of having 3 hours of Kamala looking like she's excruciating pain, trying to answer questions with her whole because, but she knows that when she starts deflecting with, but Trump, that Joe Rogan is going to be like, all right, stop with that. Stop with the whole, but Trump. Answer the question. Let's pretend Trump isn't around. Now, what do you got? And she'd have nothing. Which is, God, imagine living with that. She was on Shannon Sharp's Club, Shay podcast on YouTube, 46,000 likes, 140,000 dislikes, 1.1891 million views. Time now. I generally like Big Play Shay. That I got a clip from that. Wait, did I do it yesterday? I showed a clip from that yesterday. But I have a series of clips. I have so much left to cover. I think I'm going to be going for like another hour here. I'm sorry, hon. Brian, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Week of holiday, who would expect it? I don't know what this means. Post week of holiday. That was 8 minutes ago. I don't remember what I was talking about 8 minutes ago. I wasn't talking about any of my holidays. Mike Pence is a special case. Even as a talk host, he wasn't influential. Name someone who was. Name a vice president who was. Joe Biden wasn't influential. I think Joe Biden was as influential as Oprah. Come on. Your goal meter is faulty. I've given like a lot of $5 super chats and it's stuck at 26. Is that what happened? It's possible. I've never tried it before. I saw it at the start of the show and I was like, all right, let me send. Oh, I know what happened. It probably stopped at the 2-hour mark. Timer ended before reaching the goal. That's what happened. It died at the 2-hour mark. I got the Lord deep in my heart. I don't know what that is. Can we have a great Lawgic show before election? I miss him. Probably not going to happen. It's unlikely to happen. I'd be willing to bet she makes it back into the Senate. I'm telling you, I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet. Trump should call. You have no idea. They're going to be so angry at her if she loses. They're going to be so angry. We have Trump because of that. Because of that. Beep. I'm telling you. No. Her career's over. Even Mike Pence. Anyone going to be voting for him for anything? Trump should call for giving Puerto Rico statehood. I'd love to see the left take the opposite position. Was Dominion running your goal tonight? No, I think it stopped at 2 hours. I think that's what happened. So, and I'm at 2 hours and 40 minutes already. Let me get to my Kamala's an idiot clips because I got a whole bunch of them. Where are you? Nope, not this one. Yeah, a whole window. Okay. People talk about her gaffes. This might be the worst gaffe. You're talking about like she seems almost borderline autistic as to her inability to sort of relate, even when the tide is going really well from her. When I first saw this crowd, I was like, wow, how the hell does she have such a big crowd? I'm starting to figure out how she has these big crowds, by the way, because I actually found a clip today that I meant to share with you. This is not part of her being an idiot, but I found a clip. I'll share with you quickly, just so you can appreciate that she's not nearly as popular as the left is trying to pretend she is. Not nearly as popular. Where are you? There we go.
What's up, everyone? I'm like 100 feet away from the entrance to Kamala Harris's big rally in D.C., and look what I found.
I don't think bust is spelled that way, by the way. I'm just going to say. I don't think it's spelled with two S's. It could be wrong, but I think you probably would not get a typo just to teach you all a little bit of English while we're here. There is a word to bust someone with two S's. You can bust someone with two S's, which basically means sort of brush against them with a kiss, is to bust them. And someone could be, and that could be past tense of he bust, she bust someone with two S's. But when you send someone on something by bus, I think is actually spelled like bused. B-U-S-E-D. That's what I think is correct. I could be wrong. But that's what seems right to me. But anyway, she's busting. Frankly, I guess this word could work for her also. Is Kamala busting people in her crowd?
Lines of buses.
Yeah, that's why she has her crowds.
So when Kamala talks about her crowd being so large tonight, just know it's all fake. They were all bussed in. Let's take a walk. Look how long.
We're going to do this in fast motion because there's not much thought in this content.
It just keeps going and going and going. I think they're nearly busted.
One bust
Look,
after another.
It doesn't stop. Keeps going.
George Soros found these
As
folks.
you can hear, the Kamala drums are beating. Where did Kamala bust all these people in from?
This is where hundreds of millions of dollars are going to make her crowd seem like they actually care about her.
Clearly marked. Nothing about Kamala is real.
Nothing is real. It's true. Nothing is real. So that's why when you see this crowd here, don't start thinking to yourself, wow, she gets big crowds. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. But even this paid for crowd, so she's got this paid crowd there who's basically supposed to show such great excitement for her. God only knows what the hell they make for spending hours listening to her cackle. I'm sure it's at least $20 an hour these folks are making. Like, these rallies must be costing her a mint. A mint. Each of these rallies must be costing her $1 million. Probably more even. I'm talking about just for the crowd. So here they go with their stupid crowd. And they're all excited. Yay, Kamala. So it's when you're riding a wave, let me tell you something, okay? On rare occasion, when someone has the good fortune to be riding a wave of excitement, and they're standing in front of that wave, the one thing that you sort of almost want, everyone wants to keep that wave going as long as you can. Let's face it, we all love being on top of a wave. Who doesn't love that? Everyone loves that. Most people, they're pretty cautious when they're on top of a wave. Let's just keep the same fire going. That's what they do. This cackling, awkward, borderline autistic, incompetent boob of a vice president, who's currently running for the top office, manages somehow to literally take a wave that you can't stop them and just put up a hand sign to them by confusing the bejesus out of them. Look at that crowd.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that. It's about
Look at that moment. Oh, I gotta play that in slow motion. Just how they're all like frenzied to just dead stop. It's like that thing with like all of a sudden there's a whole crowd which is just like oh my God. I've never seen an organic crowd just completely undercut. And like they're done. Like, what are you talking about? What do you want us to do? Scream our own names? Which is such a stupid. It's so perfect, Kamala, because it's like I'm all excited and I got great enthusiasm and I got more great ideas for you, which is such an obviously stupid idea. Because what would happen if all of a sudden you had thousands of people screaming completely different words? All you would hear is that. It wouldn't sound like anything. It wouldn't sound good. But the queen of bad ideas, let's do this. You have to just watch in slow motion. That's what I want. I want to watch this in slow motion as this crowd that's so excited. Just go.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
That's not as fun as I thought it would be. That's not as fun. Oh well. See, I was trying something there. I just killed my own wave. Kamala.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
And she's like,
it's about all of us. It's about all of us. And listen, I have fought my whole career to put the
you're so bad at this. You're so bad at everything you do. How can any one human be so bad at everything they try to do?
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. How can one human be so bad at this and have such a terrible personality? Oh my God.
Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
And that didn't work. Let me just move on and listen. No one knows what the hell you're talking about, lady. Queen of bad ideas. Oh, so this is also from this Shannon thing. This was shared by Define Els. Define Els. This is we're on our Kamala's an idiot little segment of our tour here of tonight's show. that Kamala's an idiot.
Being able to see what is possible.
This is her a few minutes apart in the same interview.
Being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited ability to see the same. You cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability.
She's such it's like
being able to see what is possible and not be burdened by other people's limited ability to see the same. You cannot ever be burdened by other people's limited ability to understand who you are. Like, don't let their limited ability burden you about your own ability. Being able
Shannon Sharp is like, right. Yeah. I guess that's her mantra because no one understands her. So she's like, just because no one understands me doesn't mean that that's limiting me. Anyway, I haven't really addressed how she's the queen of all accents. So in lieu thereof, I'm just going to share a little montage of her going through just doing different accents because she's as real as they come, as real and genuine as they come.
Thank unions every day for the 5-day work week, for the weekend, for paid leave if you've got it. We still got work to do.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Let's just get through the next 64 days. And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
I love you back.
Have you no empathy, man? You know, for the suffering of other people. Have you no sense of purpose?
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Joy cometh in the morning.
The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
Thank unions every.
So bad. So bad. I think she learned that from Hillary, where she was like, where Hillary was like, I gotta start mixing up my accents depending on who I'm talking to, because that's not at all offensive. Anyway. I wanted to share this with you also. This guy who is trying to figure out who Kamala reminds him of. This had me laughing.
So I've been watching all of Kamala Harris's interviews because I wanted to see if she'd ever say anything of substance. But she continues to just give us word salads. And I started to think, damn, she reminds me of someone I used to watch. A character. I couldn't remember if it was a cartoon. I couldn't remember if it was a show. But I'm going to show you the video of who I think she is. And it was just hilarious because it was messing up my brain. And I was like, finally it dawned on me. Kamala Harris reminded me of this character I used to watch on Living Color. I don't know if you used to see the show many, many years ago, but it was like a Saturday night type show. And it was with the Wayans brothers, and they used to do all these skits. And there was this character on there called Oswald Bates. He would talk and say nothing, but it was all these crazy word salads, and he would just say the dumbest things you could possibly think of. So I'm gonna show you a video of Oswald Bates, and if you think it's her, if you think Kamala Harris is Oswald Bates, repost this, hashtag Kamala Harris is Oswald Bates, and let's show everyone who Kamala Harris is. Check it out.
First of all, we must internalize the flatulation of the matter by transmitting the effervescence of the Indonesian proximity in order to further segregate the crux of my venereal infection. Now, if I may retain my liquids here for one moment, I'd like to continue the redundance of my quote-unquote intestinal tract See, because to preclude on the issue of world domination.
I need to pause this because I'm sure that Fox or whoever still or Comedy Central is just waiting to smack me down for this. And I don't know if I break it up, maybe they won't. But this is spot on. This is spot on, Kamala, right here. Like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you saying?
Would only circumvent, circumcise the revelation that reflects the aphrodisiac symptoms which now perpetrates the Jericho's activation. So, do not misinterpret the chauvinistic.
Give to the United Negro Scholarship Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to develop without help.
Allow me to expose my colon once again. The ramification inflicted.
So yeah, there you go. There you go. If you missed it, if that got cut out, if it got edited out, that might have happened. Go Google Oswald Bates on YouTube. I'm sure you'll find him there. And yeah, bite me, Comedy Central, or whoever owns them. So I'm sure you're going to try and hit me for that. So you might think to yourself, why would anyone be voting for her? Why would anyone be voting for her? How is it possible anyone's voting for her? And the answer to that is there are folks like these people.
Well, it's like, you live all year long in your little box, and you come here for 1 week. You can kind of live out crazy fantasies, and you can get away with it, and no one cares. And what happens in Key West stays here.
That guy's almost definitely like an investment banker who's terrified that this is actually this ended up on the internet. That's my take. My take is this dude is someone who's making 7 figures and really not happy that this has made the rounds it's made. Really not happy. But yes, Kamala voter. There you go. There you go. And just because I was trying to find somewhere to put it. So this also came into my timeline. I thought this was a pretty good take of Kamala ordering Chinese food that I thought y'all would enjoy.
Hi, it's Ching Ching Chicken. Hi, I'm Kamala Harris. I'm gonna order some Chinese food. Oh my god, I love. Where's your accent from? Can I just say I love the working class?
Where's your accent? I forgot that joke. That's a pretty funny joke. Going to Chinese restaurant. Where's your accent from? I love
so much. Yes, I order.
It's a nice little touch. It's also a nice little touch that she starts mimicking the accent of whoever she's talking to. It's a great touch. That's a great touch here.
Oh my god, I grew up middle class and we ate Chinese food all the time. Yeah, I'm Asian as well. Dougie, do you want 2 or 3 egg roll? Fried rice, chicken fried rice. Okay, I like the way you think. Us Asians are gonna stick together. Thank you, bye-bye. Dougie, the food's on the way. Hi.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good job. Pretty good job. Pretty good. Pretty good. Don't worry, I'm not done. I got more work. We're not going to cover that. Maybe I'll save this one for the end because that's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm going to say that one for the end. What's a nice closer? I got a funny one for the end. going to say that for later. Okay. I also have a video up here that as someone referred to as the coolest video on X at the moment. I would share it with you. It's a Trump ad over here. The problem is that the music is November Rain. And I think I'll get halfway through this song before Slash comes into my house and basically starts slapping me like copyright claims all over my face. And then it would be really awkward. It wouldn't be comfortable. It's literally just November Rain playing while you just have like cool moments with Trump. It's pretty good. And it's just November Rain playing. It's pretty good. And it'll lose its touch if I share it here now. But I'm gonna try to remember to share that over on Locals for those of you who want to check that out. I really can't play it here. That's definitely a no-fly zone. All right. This was actually pretty cool also. In lieu of sharing a Trump November Rain moment, this is Trump. This is a clip of behind the scenes of Trump watching Kamala at the DNC. And I was like, this is pretty cool. You actually get to see him. We all know he's the master tweeter. It turns out someone's typing it for him, but he's kind of approving it. This is Trump. This, I think, is real. I don't think this is AI. This is Trump watching Kamala while she was doing her DNC thing. I'll turn this up a little bit beforehand. Which this is actually pretty, this is a pretty cool thing to say.
Oh my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many. Thank you. It's about 20. There must be 35.
Traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist.
How many people are watching?
Can we tell how many, Dan? How many people are watching?
She's talking about how great San Francisco was before she destroyed it. A lot of talk about childhood. We've got to get to the border, inflation, and crime.
He's not proposing a single policy.
It's very cool. It's very cool that they released like behind the scenes thing. I assume that was with the approval of the Trump camp. It's very cool. It's very humanizing to like see him like, okay, send this out. Like what you actually see his brain working. It's a very cool thing. I'm definitely going to try to share that over on Locals with you guys. And those of you who have concerns, I showed you one Harris voter. Look at this person. Look at this person here. Truck driver. What do you think? Trump voter, Harris voter. Trump voter, Harris voter. And tell me what you think. Trump or Harris? Just look at this person. Little pink hair in the background there. Let me see what they're saying on Rumble. I didn't skip the rants, Neuro. I got the rants. I think I got them all. I got 4 of them, I think. Jill Stein voter. All right.
I hope that this helps get us to the right future. I'm scared of what will happen if Kamala Harris is the president.
Yep. I was scared of what will happen if Kamala Harris. I didn't get started at the beginning, but yeah.
Went out and I voted today. It's the first time I've ever voted. I've been registered to vote for 20 years. I'm 40. This is the first time I've been ever inundated with politics like this. It's the first time I've ever felt fear for my future or my children's future.
I thought total Harris voter.
And
until she actually said,
I hope that this helps get us to the right future.
When she's talking about fear, I was like, this is totally afraid of Donald Trump. This is someone who's been triggered by the left into being afraid of Donald Trump. No.
I'm scared of what will happen if Kamala Harris is the president. I'm constantly barely making ends meet. I was doing so well before Biden and Harris got into the office, and I didn't feel as stressed and barely making ends meet as I am now. I mean, like just last week, I barely made enough to make sure I pay rent this week. So
it's terrible.
I encourage everybody to go out and vote. I went out and voted Trump 2024.
Yeah. So, a couple of thoughts on that. First thought I want to share with you is that woman is remarkably brave. That was a remarkably brave thing for her to do. To expose herself in such a vulnerable way. And I want to actually find her now on TikTok and offer her some encouragement. Where is she? It only has 13 likes so far. I only hear it. So.
Went out and I voted today.
Okay. I just want to make sure I have the right video.
Was doing so well.
Yeah. Okay. So. I really found this like moments before the show tonight. And I was like, I want to find somewhere to put this in. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to include a link to this, and I'm going to throw a link to this video in the chat. It's a TikTok video. I'm going to throw a link to this in the chat. And if you feel like giving her encouraging, please don't send her anything mean, God forbid. If any of you are able to give her encouraging words, you know, of hope and optimism, I think that would be a really nice thing to do. So I'm gonna actually pin it in the chat. Let's do it that way. Let's try to help her out. I assumed since this came to my feed that this had like thousands of views. It's got all 13 likes, now 14 likes, and 6 comments on it. So let me put it in chat here. This individual's name is Chad Jesus. No, I'm sorry. I was getting very confused. The X link was shared by Chad Jesus. This is Captain Morgan. Correct myself. I should try and get the right name here. So, why is this coming out like that? Copy this. I'm also going to put my description if you're watching after the show. I think it'd be really cool if a lot of people would send her encouragement. And I'm going to write her something myself. And I do think things are going to get better. And I hope and pray that they get better for her. So I just pinned that in YouTube. Now I'm pinning it in Rumble. I include it in my description here. So now it's saved in my description if you're watching after the show. And I want to share a message with her. Only 150 characters? Yeah, I'm a look down typist. Hold on. Is there a way of viewing like if you don't have TikTok? I don't know. I don't know what happens when you click on a link. Have you tried clicking it? Have you tried clicking it?
Went out and
I don't know. Yeah, to the extent any of you can like send some sort of heartwarming anything, it'd be really nice. Okay, a few more videos, a few more thoughts I wanted to share with you before I wrap up for tonight. A lot of you may not be familiar with a woman by the name of Angela Davis. You're like, who's Angela Davis? Why are you talking to us about Angela Davis? Don't worry, you're going to like this. This is Angela Davis. This is her back in 1974. She's still alive. She's still alive. She's an American Marxist and a feminist, political activist, philosopher, academic, and author, distinguished professor emerita of feminist studies and history of consciousness at the University of California, Santa Cruz, longtime member of the Communist Party USA, CPUSA, founding member of the Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism, active in movements such as the Occupy movement, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions campaign, which is anti-Israel, because we just that's how we roll, is we got to hate on Israel. Now, she was born in Birmingham, Alabama. Was privileged enough to go to Brandeis University and University of Frankfurt, for crying out loud, which became increasingly engaged in far-left politics, studying UFC, San Diego, before moving to East Germany, where she completed some studies, hired as an assistant professor of philosophy, and now is what the best word I think is blacktivist, like very much into like, blacks and black rights. Davis was supported the Soledad brothers, 3 inmates who were accused and charged with the killing of a prison guard. On August 7, 1970, heavily armed 17-year-old African-American high school student Jonathan Jackson, whose brother was George Jackson, one of the 3 Soledad brothers, gained control of the courtroom in Marin County, California. He armed the black defendants and took a judge, Harold Haley, attorney general, and 3 female jurors as hostages. As Jackson transported the hostage and 3 black defendants away from the courtroom, one defendant shot the police. The police returned fire. Judge and 3 black men were killed in the melee. One of the jurors, the prosecutor, and one of the attackers, Rochelle McGee, were injured. Although the judge was shot in the head with a blast from a shotgun, he also suffered a chest wound from a bullet that may have been fired from outside the van. Evidence during the trial showed that either could have been fatal. Davis had purchased several of the firearms Jackson used in the attack. Okay? This is who this woman is. This is who this woman is. So she's one of those folks. She's a major figure in the prison abolition movement. She's called the United States prison system the prison industrial complex, and was one of the founders of the Critical Resistance, a national grassroots organization dedicated to building a movement to abolish the prison system. That's who she is. If you're wondering who she is. She's very into social justice for blacks. And frankly, she's a crazy because she feels she's been very, very oppressed.
Your ancestors.
And this happened to her recently. This is what happened to Angela Davis recently. This is her today. This is Angela Davis, highly oppressed Angela Davis, who's got to make everyone in the world suffer because she's been highly oppressed. So now people got to go because she's been highly oppressed. From suffering through generations of oppression.
Any idea what you're looking at? That is a list of the passengers on the Mayflower.
No, I can't believe this. No, my ancestors did not come here on the Mayflower.
Your ancestors came on the Mayflower.
No.
So good. Her ancestors were literally on the Mayflower. On the freaking Mayflower. This oppressed woman who studied at Brandeis and Frankfurt. This oppressed woman is a descendant of people who came on the Mayflower. It gets better. If you think that's not enough, now the next 30 seconds of this gets better.
You are descended from one of the 101 people who sailed on the Mayflower.
Oof. That's a little bit too much to deal.
So that woman's name is Angela Davis. She is one of the most anti-white and pro-reparations leaders in America. Now,
reparations. She wants reparations. She wants reparations. She was on the Mayflower. On the Mayflower. She wants her reparations. Oh my God. And it's better. It gets better.
not only did she just learn that her ancestors were colonizers, but she later found out that they were also slave owners. You can't pick and choose your bloodline, Angela, and 23andMe says it's time for you to pay up.
Sure, ancestors were on the Mayflower and slave owners. She wants reparations because of slavery, and her ancestors were slave owners. Unbelievable. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Angela. Gosh. So good. So good. Oh my God. Oh, finally I got Don Magnon's approval. It's been weeks and weeks. He's been suffering through show after show, one show after another. You guys think I don't read the ghetto chat? Oh, I read the ghetto chat. I read the chat. Weeks and weeks. Dom has been watching my show, and every comment I read from him is something like, well, tonight's gonna suck. Prepared to be bored. It's like one complaint after another. I don't know who's got the gun to his head forcing him to sit through. The poor soul. Either someone's got a gun to his head who's like, no, you got to watch Joe. Again, I don't even know when his show is going to end. It's supposed to be 2 hours. It goes 2.5, 3 hours. Oh, God, this is awful. Night after night. I was like, maybe he's a masochist. Maybe he's one of these people who, like, I don't know. Maybe he's a cutter. I don't know what his deal is. Why would you go watch a show that you're constantly complaining is terrible? Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't think he's hate watching my show while, like, I don't know, like jolting his own areola with like electrical shots. He's like, oh great, now I gotta go watch Joe and get those that electroshock therapy. What is it? Why, Dom? What's happening? Oh my God. Oh my God. Poor Dom. Electroshock therapy and Joe. I got him to laugh. He's saying he left the chat, but he's saying this here. I don't know. He's here. That's relevant to anything I'm talking about. He left the chat? What do you mean he left the chat? Oh, you found a link to the TikTok. Oh. All right. Well, anyhow. I knew you guys were going to appreciate the Angela Davis. What a loser. You build your whole life around reparations and find out that you were the cause of slavery. Idiot. Joe, you have to read the comments on the Club Shay Shay Kamala Harris podcast. It's effing hilarious. I don't even know where would I get that? Like, is that on YouTube? I don't know. If someone sends me a link, I'll try to pull it up. If someone DMs me a link, I'll check over There was something else I was supposed to check in DMs. There's something I was supposed to, someone told me they DM me something. Like a long time ago, they told me this. I totally forgot about it. I forgot about it for a bit, but now I'm coming back to it. You know, Lauren said, what do we got here?
Crooked Joe Biden just called the American people garbage. What a horrible thing to say. And this is a guy who says he grew up in a Puerto Rican community. You know, he fought off corn poppy. But he called you garbage. What a horrible thing. But as the phrase goes, I came up with it myself. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And you are all treasure to me. And I found a lot of treasure, believe it or not. X marks the spot. We love X. And we love Elon. I gave him the idea. I said, Elon. He said, sir. I said, Elon, you should call it X. He goes, I don't know if I should do that. I said, you should do it. And he did it. And it's a tremendous platform. We love him. But Crooked Joe knows a thing or two about garbage with this dumpster fire of an administration.
So good.
He's done a horrible job. It's been a complete and total disaster. He knows a thing or two about waste. You know, they call it rubbish in England, but we kicked their asses in 1776. He knows a thing or two about waste. He left a lot of it on the floor of the Vatican. Operation Tootsie Roll. You're not supposed to do that.
Oh my God, the visual of Operation Tootsie Roll. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sean. Operation Tootsie Roll. That is quite the visual.
But he called you garbage, and I would never do a thing like that. The choice has never been clearer. You can vote for the guy who calls you garbage, or you could vote for the guy who believes you're the greatest treasure the world has ever seen. Vote accordingly, save your country, and let's make America great again.
That was phenomenal work by him. Thank you for sharing that with me, Lauren. That was really good. What else do I... There was other stuff here I'm supposed to check out. Other stuff I'm supposed to check out. Oh, yeah. Adrian sent me the hat. Yeah, I think that's the hat I bought. It was like 2 for 1 or something like that. I'm not sure. I think so. I don't remember. Tam shared something with me also. What do you got for me, Tam? No, it's a 30-minute video. Yeah, I can't do that. You know I can't do that. That's not happening right now, Tam. Drop Barracuda. All right. He sent me something that's a minute long. Let's see what he gave me. I still got a couple more clips I think I want to share with you after this.
Joe Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
Yeah.
Beyonce. Party with Beyonce. Dance.
Yeah. See, I got like all these different standards I gotta like sort of apply here. I got standards I gotta apply here. I'll share that video out later. I'll share it out. What is this? What do I have? Yeah. So actually, they just saw this right now, and I was like, I want to see what this clip says. Shared by Juanita Broderick.
Governor, first off, just what's your response to that comment from President Biden, where it sounds like he's calling Trump supporters there garbage?
Told you. Biden, cut down the Kamala wave. Cut down the Kamala wave. There you go. There's the Democrats calling us all garbage. Democratic leader, President of the United States, calling us all garbage. It makes sense because he's been treating us like garbage.
Yeah, look, I had not heard that until now, Caitlin, so I'm kind of giving you my fresh reaction to it. I would never insult the good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate that I didn't support.
Governor, first off, just what's your response?
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Joe Biden. Totally taking the focus off of Kill Tony's foolish joke. And now you have to, why this is significant, because the left is all about victim Olympics. And now they recognize that we've been victimized. Now we're the victims. Now we're sympathetic. There you go. There you go. There you go. And he's like, I ain't touching that one. I gotta win a re-election in 2 years. I gotta win re-election in 2 years. I can't jump on board with that. I can't jump on board with that. I got a re-election. I'm in a purple state. What do you want? What do you want me to say? What is it to say? Well, my state's looking pretty red right now. I'm not gonna. I might as well just end my political career if I sign up with that. What's he gonna say? He's like, I'm not calling him that. And here's one of the people that Joe Biden was calling garbage. A very astute individual. An astute individual who actually knows history. It's surprising because normally when you go through the education process, it's only going to turn you woker and woker. And here's someone who's a very educated individual who sees through the garbage. And probably doesn't like being referred to as garbage by the likes of Joe Biden on the left.
Why you wore that Trump hat in here? Because I'm a diehard Trump supporter. In my household, you got Martin Luther King, you got Jesus, and you got Donald Trump. Not in that.
You got Martin Luther King, you got Jesus, and you got Donald Trump. That's it. That's it. Not in that order. Not in that order. Martin Luther King, Jesus, and Donald Trump. I like how he says not in that order, but he's not going to tell you what the actual order is. But it's not as Martin Luther King, Jesus, and Donald Trump, not in that order. I don't know if he's putting Jesus on top. I don't know if he's putting Donald Trump on top. I don't know if he's putting Martin Luther King on the bottom. I don't know what it is, but the one order I know it's not is Martin Luther King, Jesus, and Donald Trump. But this guy is incredibly educated. I'm not saying that as a joke at all. He really is.
That particular order, but yeah, you got Martin Luther King, Jesus, and Donald Trump.
Why you got Donald Trump? You know, well, I'm a straight Democrat, but I'm for the best person.
Oh, yes,
but
sir.
Now, why you got Donald Trump?
Because I paid attention in school when I was a kid, and so I know the true history of both the Republican and Democratic Party. I know that they really didn't switch during the Nixon Southern strategy, that right. One became more clever than the other in dealing with black people. We the Democrats niggas. We got away. We were the Republicans' friends. We was their friends, but we were the Democrats niggas. When you look at the origins of the Ku Klux Klan, it originated out of the Democratic Party.
The Ku Klux Klan?
It did. Every civil rights legislation that ever has been passed in this country was authored, written, sponsored, and voted on 100% by Republicans and not Democrats. Every civil rights legislation.
Well, what you gonna do?
So let me finish. So as a kid, I remember being 6, 7 years old and seeing Donald Trump receive an award with Muhammad Ali, Rosa Parks from the NAACP. Not only that, he engaged and interacted in our culture from the 80s throughout the 90s and even the 2000s, from rappers to Michael Jackson. So when we looked out into our culture, his face appeared many, many times. So for me to grow up now and hear the media, because before the media started saying he was racist, I never heard a black leader.
I never heard black leaders say it. Got cut off. So there you go. Apparently Joe Biden thinks he's garbage too. Is that it? I think I covered everything. Oh, I had the one joke thing. I have one joke thing left for y'all, and I also want to see if I had any more DMs that I had to get to. Wrestler Village sent me. Oh, you sharing with me the Palestinian stuff? Yeah, I've seen those before. I shared the Palestinian kids because it literally came on my timeline right at one after the other. But I've seen how they have like basically Mickey Mouse saying "Go kill Jews." It's kind of gross. Do you guys want to see a video of Mickey Mouse telling Palestinian kids to go kill Jews? Is that what you want me to share with you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, far 4. Good day, Rico. Yeah, okay. So all right, let me get super chats and then I'll share the last video for you. All those traffic kids went to Kamala's rally. She must be trying to lose on purpose now. No, she's just that bad. Oswald Bates, Kamala is straight up Don King. Maybe. I love her. You really do get the candidate you vote for. Oh, wait. Well, I guess you can settle with the candidate you deserve. Thanks for all the content. You're welcome. When Trump wins, we can all finally be unburdened by what has been like a huge sweaty dump. How fitting for the Democratic platform. Well said, Sun Wukong. Thank you for sharing that, Lauren. That was great. DM you a palate cleanser. Pay attention near the end. Did I get to that? Did I see that? I know you sent me something. What did you say? Did I cover this? That was Beyonce. Yeah. I couldn't make it to the end. I can't show that stuff. It's a family show. It literally really doesn't make about the jokes. They had to stretch to be offended there, and when they had no remote basis, they lie anyway. F what they think. They look dumb both anyways. I agree with you, Governor. Cheddar. I agree with you. But it's not you and me. It's people who are torn. It's people who are torn that you don't want to jolt them into thinking I'm signing up with a racist. Jay Lieb got refused to be a member until Just Rhonda's emojis are available. They're coming soon. Pay attention at the end of the dancing. I can't. Just in your great one on Twitter, sent by JDH Jax. I don't see it here. I don't see it from you. I don't see anything from you, Janelle. Now, Kathy shared with me this, which I think is an interesting thing. We talk about people giving their support. I'll give you another minute or so here, Janelle, to resend it, I guess, because I don't see it here in my DMs. This is when we talk about people refusing to vote for Kamala or Trump. Here's Dersh on that.
I can't vote for you, Kamala Harris. I can't vote for you. I'm sorry. I'm a Democrat. I've been a Democrat all my life. I'm no longer officially a Democrat, but I can't vote for you. I can't bring myself to vote for you, at least now, based on what I've now seen. I just can't bring myself to pull that lever for somebody who turns to an audience and says to somebody who talks about genocide, you're right, what you're saying is right, or you should be listened to. No, I can't do that. That's just immoral. And I would urge other people to take the same view. You have to ask yourself a question. Can you vote for a candidate who's made statements like that? I can't. I couldn't go into the booth and live with myself if I pulled the lever for Kamala Harris. I can't vote.
Interesting. It's really interesting. He has been a lifelong Democrat. So let's see what you know about got it to me. I don't see it. I don't know what happened. I don't see it here. I'm sorry. All right, last video. This is pretty funny. It's only 30 seconds, but this is one you're gonna want a copy of this one. You're gonna want this one. I like. This is a nice way to finish. No one get offended. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. No one please, just don't get offended. It's just jokes. Do I know any liberal women brave enough to drop a selfie and prove she's wrong when Marjorie Taylor Greene said MAGA women are hotter than liberal women? That's Marjorie Taylor Greene's parody account. MAGA women are hotter than liberal women. So David Leavitt, crazy blue lefty, says, do I know any liberal women brave enough to drop a selfie and prove she's wrong? Yeah, let's see.
Do I know any liberal women brave enough to drop a selfie and prove she's wrong? Do I know any liberal women brave enough to drop a selfie and...
It got better and better as it went along. It got better and better as it went along. Yikes. Oh my. Oh my. That was pretty. I was like thinking like, man, I wish I like threw a wig on and sent a picture in under that. I wish I had. That was rough. Let me check and make sure I didn't miss anything on Rumble. Otherwise, neurodivergent's gonna get mad at me. I don't want neurodivergent mad at me. I don't want neurodivergent mad at me. Is Don Madden back? Is he more electroshock therapy that he's going for? Sent, but don't play the audio. Okay. No wonder Passport Bros. Let's see if I found it, if I got it here or not. I don't. Are you tagging me? Is that what's happening? I'm looking for DMs. Are you tagging me? Is that what's happening? How is it possible you're saying you sent it and I'm not seeing nothing? I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. I tried, but I got nothing here. Look, I'll show you. See? I got nothing. I don't know. All right. I appreciate you anyway. I appreciate the effort. Do a quick check over here. All right. I'm good on locals. I'm good everywhere. I covered everything everywhere. This was a long show, but it was totally worth the 3 hours and 45 minutes because I had a lot of fun tonight. This was a fun show. This was high quality stuff, which means I only got 2 things left. All right. Don't eat feces lab meat. Okay. Like it's feces, like literally feces. Why would you do that? Why would any human do this? Now you know it's feces. Don't eat it. And yeah. And obviously, last but not least, don't eat the bugs. That's my show. I'm sticking to it. Have a good night, and as always, Godspeed.